Danfo offers unparalleled, curated, and bespoke tours across Africa for travelers seeking genuine cultural experiences, enriched with magnificent sights, sounds, and flavors found on the continent. Each trip is reliably curated to ensure visitors are gifted with an immersive and authentic adventure. Whether you find yourself strolling along the charming white sand beaches of Sierra Leone, feasting on the mouth-watering delicious foods in Senegal, observing or partaking in various aspects of the Isheshe traditional system Ifa native to Yoruba land, Nigeria, with Danfo, you will rediscover a fulfilling sense of kinship to the true heart of the motherland, her communities. Our core values focus on integrity, quality, safety, and sustainability. We are uniquely committed to assisting with the advancement of African infrastructure and promoting African businesses, so both travelers and the communities they visit receive beneficial exchanges. At Danfo, we understand the importance of connectivity, and we have created a model which provides bespoke experiences based on your passions or hobbies. With us, expect a long-lasting spiritual bond between you and your destinations. Live, love, Danfo Africa. To learn more, visit danfo.africa.
Peace, family. We are live again. Dynasty Mirror Search for Huru. Thank you all. Thanks so much for joining. Hit that like button. You guys know the drill. I sound like a broken record every time I come on here, but I really, really need and value and want you all. I want your support. So I just need you to hit the like button when you come to the chat. Shout out to Daniel Berry Sports Highlights 5851. Thank you for joining. Thank you for being here today on a Sunday. So hit that like button, make sure you share, make sure you subscribe. We are rolling to Nigeria in a couple months for the Oshun Festival, the Oshun Osogbo. If you're interested in joining us, please visit Danfo, that's DANFO .Africa. Again, please visit Danfo, that's DANFO .Africa to learn more. We're also going to Zanzibar in September, Kenya in September as well. Ghana and Ivory Coast in November, Sierra Leone in November, and then we're hitting up Benin Republic for the Wadoon Festival in January. So please visit Danfo.Africa to learn more. And guys, so when you go to Danfo.Africa and when you sign up for the email, join the mailing list, like I'm going to call you. Like I'm going to personally call you. You will get a personal phone call from me. Guys, give me 1 second. You will get a personal phone call from me. So again, go to Danfo.Africa, learn more, and join the family. Again, join the family. We'll love to have you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and put the link in the chat room if you guys want to call in. Yeah, so a French informant, Yann V. I don't know why they won't just give us his full name. That's the part where I'm confused at. Like out this guy. Like, who is he? Like, out this guy. But anyways, he's been sentenced to 20 years in prison. Again, but who is he? Like, where's his picture at, guys? So the picture that's on the thumbnail, that's not actually his. That's not actually his photo. That's just the photo, that Chat GPT gave me. But I really want to know who this guy is. But here's a story from France 24. French diplomat in Mali sentenced to 20 years in prison for undermining state security. And I hope if this is true, all right, since he's been proven guilty, if this is true, I hope he stays in prison and is not released or given some type of amnesty, whatever the word is. Getting, some prison swap. I don't know. Hopefully, a prison swap's not conducted. Hopefully, he stays in prison for 20 years. French diplomat in Mali sentenced to 20 years in prison for undermining state security. A court in Mali has sentenced a French intelligence agent with diplomatic status to 20 years in prison for undermining state security. Now, this is interesting. So, from my understanding, if you have diplomatic status, you have diplomatic immunity. So, this is very interesting. So, they locked his ass up. Good. The judicial sources said Friday in a ruling that further strains already fraught relations between the West African junta-led state and its former colonial ruler, France. A Malian court has jailed a French embassy official for 20 years for undermining state security in a new blow to relations between the West African nation and its former colonial ruler, judicial sources told AFP on Friday. France lambasted the baseless accusations made by the junta against the official who was detained in August last year. The verdict was handed down on Thursday by a specialized anti-terrorist court, with one source telling AFP the proceedings were held behind closed doors. The French official was also hit with a $6,225 fine and a 20-year ban on entry in Mali. Well, shit, if he's going to be in jail for 20 years, I mean, he already going to be locked up for 20 years. Okay. According to three separate court sources, all speaking on condition of anonymity out of security concerns. At the time of his arrest, Malian authorities accused the official, identified as Yann V, what's his name, and put his picture up there, of working for French intelligence and railed against foreign states trying to destabilize the jihadist plagued country. The official was detained on August 13th in the company of Malian officers who have since been accused of plotting a coup to overthrow the military junta that took power in 2021, in a 2021 coup. All the officers were dismissed, and none of them have since gone on trial. After the arrest, Paris suspended counterterrorism cooperation with Mali and expelled 2 Malian diplomats. Baseless accusations. France insisted after the sentence that the charges against the official who was officially assigned to the French embassy in Bamako were without merit. Our agent is subject of legal proceedings involving baseless accusations. Is the subject of legal proceedings involving baseless accusations. The French Foreign Ministry said it demanded the release of the official. Our official was carrying out a security cooperation mission, and under no circumstances has France participated directly or indirectly in the destabilization of Mali. Impoverished Mali has been gripped by jab. Impoverished Mali. Ooh, they just jabbed Mali. Been gripped by a security crisis since 2012, fueled notably by violence from groups affiliated with Al Qaeda and the Islamic State jihadist group, as well as local criminal gangs under junta chief Assimi Goita. The country has turned its back on the West, especially France. Instead, has fostered closer ties with Moscow, welcoming Russian mercenaries for help in tackling the long-running jihadist threat. That situation has become especially critical since the Al Qaeda-linked group for the support of Islam and Muslims, JNIM, carried out coordinated attacks with Tuareg-led rebels on junta positions in April. Those assaults killed Defense Minister Saad al-Kamara, widely seen as the architect of junta's pivot to Russia, and saw the strategic northern town of Kadal fall to Tuaregs. Go ahead, Elvis.
All right, thank you, Dennis. Look, I think this would be great. And again, maybe they didn't do it for security reasons, but have it expose this person and presented the evidence that he was, undermining the security of Mali with hard evidence. That would be great. And they can pinpoint where perhaps he was working with the terrorist group or he was giving out information and against the country to their enemies. Any of those would have been great. But let me just warn you, Dynas, and again, you know, a lot of people are against the French for sabotaging, these Sahel countries, which I have no doubt there are elements within those countries that's doing it. But the thing with military juntas, they tend to run what they call kangaroo court. So they have certain claims against you, and they won't allow you to have a lawyer who can adequately, defend you. They do it against their own people. In this case, as an international actor, the bar should be even higher. The fact that they allegedly held this court behind closed doors, where the evidence wasn't presented for scrutiny, I think that's a problem. And again, if it was so clear cut that this guy was working for or working against them, why didn't they put the evidence out so that we can see and come to that conclusion? So I don't know what your take on it is, but I just think it's a bit sketchy. He could have definitely been working against Mali, but if the evidence was there, they should have presented it so we could see it and come to that conclusion also. I don't know what you think.
Go ahead, Tarka.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, but Elvis, like I said earlier, I wish they would just give us a mug shot or put the guy's face out there and his full name instead of withholding it. But go ahead, Tarka.
It makes Elvis. What is there anything the AES government could do right? Why have to be everything negative, negative? Can't they do anything right?
Are you asking a rhetorical question or you want me to answer?
I wanted to answer it.
Right. I don't know if you heard what I said earlier. I said it's probably likely that he was doing something, right? But the news that we got to Harka is that number one, it was held behind closed door. This is an international actor, allegedly, and we they didn't present any evidence that he was there working against the Malian government, unless you have some information I don't have.
But Elvis, you are not there. You know the history of the French in or the West in general, but French in particular in these countries. You know the history. It's not a hidden history. You know what the history is. I don't understand why you always have to back up these people. I don't understand.
No.
You know what they do, bro. This is not this is you don't know what they do? Is that the thing? You don't know the history?
No, a court, when you put somebody on trial, is based on evidence. The merit of the evidence is what convicts a person, right?
Right, but how you know they don't have the evidence? You're not
Because we,
there.
we don't see it. In a court
Why
case,
you
you
have to
read,
see it? But I'm saying why you have to see it. I don't get it.
of
Why we have to
course,
see
if,
it?
hold on now. I know it's your time.
When America capture these so-called terrorists or whatever you want to call it, you don't know what they're doing.
Yeah. And that was a big problem too. A lot of Americans fought against it, that they held these guys without trial. A lot of them was in
Exactly. I
detention
remember.
without,
Yes, I know.
and a lot of Americans came against it, even though these guys were accused of being terrorists, right? So if these guys are guilty, no problem. Put the evidence out there. Dinus can read it. I could read it. You can see it. Say, okay, definitely by the weight of this evidence, he was definitely working
Yeah,
against
but,
Mali.
but but what I'm saying, Elvis, you know they've done it. They've been doing it for decades
No,
on
you
top of
can't. You can't
decades.
go on that, Taharka.
What
You
do you
have
mean
to
you
see
can't go on
evidence.
that? Why are you protecting these people? Why are you always
I'm
protecting these people?
I'm not. The point here is you as a human being, if somebody accuse you, even in these African countries, like CD and myself has lived in African countries where you had a military junta, right? And if they come against you and say that you connive or you're an enemy of the state, and they have a kangaroo court, and you don't have a lawyer to really defend yourself, and they find you guilty, they can execute you on the
But
beach.
why do you
They can
accuse these
execute you
people of having a kangaroo court just because they're military? That's what I don't understand.
because it was held behind closed doors. None of the evidence that this guy was convicted on is presented for us to see and know that in
This
fact
is
that
a
indeed he was
military
worth.
matter. Military matter is going to be
So it's
held behind
secret. So it's
closed door.
secretive. So
A
how can
military
you believe
matter
it
is
then?
going to be held behind closed door.
How can you believe it then if you don't see the evidence of it? Is it just because it's a white guy? Whatever happened to somebody's
It
family
doesn't
member?
matter if it's white or black. It doesn't matter. I bet you if this was a black dude, you wouldn't have a problem.
Of course I would. I
You
mean,
would not, Elvis.
oh
You know you would not, man.
my gosh. I mean, you guys, you just don't understand. You think I'm saying this because he's a Westerner. This happens in
Yes.
African countries all the time. People go to court. They accuse them of certain crimes. They put them in prison for many
El- El-
years because they see them as a political threat or
Elvis,
a military threat. Didi knows this.
We live in America. Are you holding America to some standard?
Say that again.
Do you know much people that end up in prison and then commit anything? We don't know.
So you're saying that this guy can end up in prison and not have committed a crime?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying we don't know. How you know?
Okay. All right. I mean,
That's what I'm saying. We don't know.
Yeah,
anything
but
that has to
talk,
do
talk,
with
talk,
They
court.
talk.
have they have the evidence. Why are you guys protecting these people?
Talk. I would at least like to know what the guy's full name is and have a picture of him in curveball. I wish they were
That's the
curveball.
bare minimum, right?
But what do you mean? What do you mean? You like to know? You're here. You're here in Atlanta. What do you mean? You want to know?
I mean,
Why
so
would I?
we're
Why
not
would I
supposed to
want to
know these
know?
things, Taharka?
Why can't they curveball the guy?
Why can't it do what?
Curveball the guy.
Give
Curb
him a
walk? What do
perp.
you
It's
mean?
called perp walk, Dinus.
Well,
A
is it
perp walk.
curveball or purple walk? What is it called, Elvis? I thought it was curveball.
Perp walk, like a
And
perpetrator
and,
walk,
and
like
what
when you
and
Yeah,
get
what?
arrested.
Put the guy's photo out there, his full name, so and so's been sentenced to 20 years of prison, and yeah, I mean they've done it in the past. Yeah.
You see, the thing is,
Other people who allegedly were who were convicted of attempting a coup in Mali, they let you know who the guy was. They put his picture out there, but for some reason, this dude we don't know who he is. I would like to know. I would at the very
you
least like to know who the guy is to see a picture of him.
you didn't see the I thought you just put a photo out.
No, that picture on the thumbnail is not
That's
that's
AI
not a photo.
generated.
They haven't put. Did they put it? Have they put a photo out of him?
No,
They
I
have a
said that
photo
picture is
out. How
AI
you know it's
generated.
AI? But how you know it's AI?
Dinus said it because that's what he said the AI
That's
gave
what I'm
him.
saying. I made the thumbnail. That picture's AI. That was done by AI.
So you can't find a photo of this
We don't know.
dude
We don't
on
know
the
the
internet.
guy's full. We don't know the guy's full
See,
name.
Taharka, and you ready to defend the AES? You don't even know if this is a hoax, if it's a real case.
What,
You
I
don't
just
even
want to know the
know.
what do
guy's
you
full
mean a
name. And see
hoax?
a picture of him.
Do they have Do they have terrorists in Do they have the French backing terrorists in the Sahel? Yes or no?
Yeah, generally, probably yes. But in
Right.
this
So
particular case,
so
you need
so
evidence to come to a conclusion, right?
yeah, but we know what the French have been doing in the AES countries.
Okay.
They've been doing it for decades. I don't understand why you guys are always protecting these people.
But you don't even have any evidence, and you made the conclusion that he must have
Oh
been guilty
man!
because the French have been
So
doing it. You have
what?
to go
What?
by
Okay,
the merits of
okay.
the evidence.
What are you worrying about it for? What are the evidence on that? What are you worrying about it for?
Right. This is a
We know
conversation,
what the
Donis.
French has been doing. We know what they've been doing. So what are you worrying about it for?
Listen to what I'm saying, right? We're critical people here. We have brains. We can think. If Donis bring up a topic and a guy has been sentenced to 20 years, right? Fine. If he deserve it, that's going to be based on the evidence. We haven't seen any evidence. We don't see the minutes from the trial. We don't see the
Yeah, but
transcript from anything. Everything is
okay,
secretive. So how do we know he's really guilty?
as soon as you got on the screen, you say, "Oh, these guys are kangaroo court and so forth and so on."
No, I gave him an example of military junta that they tend to have kangaroo court, where the defendant don't have adequate representation, legal representation,
Why you
and
calling them?
usually
See, you call
it's a
you're
military
saying
junta. What are we
you're
trying to
saying
do here?
you're this it's not a junta, bro.
Okay.
You're saying exactly how the media is saying it. Exactly how
What is a military? What is a military? So
CNN is
is
saying
it
it.
a derogatory term to use when you call
Yeah,
a
it's a
government
derogatory
ran
term, but
by?
they are now the government. They are now the government.
Okay. However, I mean,
All
maybe
right,
CD has a.
let me pass the mic to CD. Go ahead, CD.
Hey everybody.
What's
Um
up, CD?
yeah, how you doing, Iris? How you doing, Taraka and Dennis? So yeah, I'm not saying what this guy, we're not sure what he did, but at the same time we want the Malian authority to be transparent and give more information and details of what really happened, right? Because some people might think that this guy was just arrested like that without no due process. They have gone through this similar situation like that with the Ivorian military, or when Ivory Coast sent military to Mali to help them fight the jihadis. They arrested some Ivorian military that they wanted to overthrow the Malian government, right? And later, I think Boniai from Benny he intervened along with Jonathan Goodluck from Nigeria. They intervened and they freed the Ivorian military. And we later realized that there was not planning any coup, right? So they just decided to go after Ivory Coast to arrest their military. And these guys were in jail for almost like a year. Yeah, I want more detail of. Yeah, we all know that France is supporting the terrorists. We are definitely aware of that. But at the same time, there should be more transparency, and give her more detail, more information on what this guy is, what his role is. He a liaison officer, or is he part of the French military? Or we need more detail. Otherwise, this is going to put some sort of stigma on the Malian authority that they just going around arresting people without no due process. You know, we know France is supporting the terrorists, yes, of course. But what is going on in West Africa right now? Everybody is feeling it. That's why you see Ghana and Benin is going to the Sahel because their citizens are struggling to get food, especially when it comes down to cow, goat, sheep, and all of that. A lot of time people receive those supply from Mali and Burkina Faso. Even during the Eid, it was a shortage of cow, goat, sheep in Ivory Coast, in Liberia, in Senegal. They all receive all these things from Mali. So that's why you can't trust Ghana and Benin right now. They don't want to. They want to. Excuse me. They want to play game. They want to be with the Sahel for economic benefit. At the same time, they want to be with ECOWAS. But the countries. These countries are going through a lot right now. If they now finding out that they're getting a lot of benefit from the Sahel country by receiving tomato or onion. Ghana get almost all their food from Burkina Faso. So that's why they're trying to build a relationship with Burkina Faso. But again, yeah, we want due process. They should explain to all who is this guy, why he was arrested, and that will be fine. But if they go with this kind of system of arresting people without due process, I'm definitely believe a lot of countries do the same thing. Even the Benoit guy that is in South Africa right now, or Benny is going after him to arrest him to
I
put him
mean,
to extradition for
Kim
Burkina.
Sewa.
Right. So we want the same. We all fighting to the same thing that we want the due process for this guy. But at the same time, if Mali go and arrest a French citizen, we want to know why he was arrested for. Was he involved along with
But
who?
what? Why?
You know.
Why are you concerned about this dude? Why are you so concerned about this French dude? Why do you even care about him?
Well,
Well,
because he's a
it's
human
not a matter
being.
of care.
This
Man,
It's
process
not
is
a
not for black
human
people
being,
alone. It's for
bro.
everybody,
What is he
it's
Tahaka.
doing
not
there?
a it's
What is
not
he
a
doing there?
well, I mean,
What was his purpose there?
The French
Taraka
people
is
in
the
all
same
the West,
thing.
all the French
What was
past
this
colon.
dude purpose there in that part of
Taraka,
in the
you have to
north of
understand.
Mali?
You have to
Hold
understand.
on. Allegedly, he worked for the embassy there, the French embassy.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, so you have to understand this, right? There's a lot of French people in this country up to this time. Some of them will never leave. They speak the longer language. They speak it very well,
Yeah, I know the history
right?
of
They
the
have
place,
integrated
CD.
into
I know the
society.
history of the
So,
place.
right.
You'd have to
So,
tell
and
me,
not
bro.
all of them support the French government. Not all of them. What is going on? They are totally against it, right? It's almost what happened in Ivory Coast. There are French people in Ivory Coast. Even with all the civil war, they live very comfortably in Africa. They refuse to leave. When
Of course,
against the
they're
French
in
government.
paradise. Why should they leave?
Yeah, so I'm saying
Arca,
now all of these people support the French government. They don't
i-
support them.
if
Even
we
even when
analyze
when they
this
were
from a,
going trying to get rid of Babo, the French
if
people were
we
saying, "No, why
one,
are
one
you
second,
guys doing
CD,
this?"
if
Yeah.
we analyze this from another angle, right? Let's just give you a case in point with Brittany Griner, the basketball player, right? The Russia held her for something so minuscule for taking. I think she had like a cannabis, oil something in her backpack when she wanted to play overseas, and they sentenced her to a ridiculous sentence that would really outweigh the crime, right? And they did that to negotiate with the United States so that they can
Yes, yes.
free,
Good. That's a
yeah,
good move.
right, so that they can free this arms dealer Victor Boot, who armed Charles Taylor and some other rebels in West Africa, the Ukrainian Russian arms dealer, and they exchanged her for him. So sometimes government or regime they make these kind of calculations. So maybe this could be a ploy by the Malian government to hold him as a negotiation tool. Maybe.
Who the French have over there? Who the French have over
What
there?
it may not just be a person, but it could be a negotiation tool for
And
whatever they're trying to get from France. Okay.
America, Biden chose chose to release the I forgot his name. This dude. They had somebody else that the Russian could have let go also, which was a military dude that Russia have
Otto was it who
in
Otto
jail.
von Beer?
Whatever his name was. But the pressure was on Biden because this is a star, right? To trade her. But they should have changed trade the military personnel. That's who they should have traded.
Right. So
But she
for
was a
me to
star.
heart, right
It was all over the news.
for me, I'm just saying in Mali, I'm sure they have competent lawyers and legal personnel who know how to gather information because you need evidence to establish proof.
But he was representative, right? He had a representative.
Do we know this?
What do you mean if you know it or not?
That's the
Why would he
assumption
have
you're
a
coming.
representative?
That's the assumption you're making, right? Because it was
He
behind
had a
closed doors.
representative, right? You know they had a
We don't see the
representative.
no. We assume that we don't see the docket. We don't see who was representing him, who represented the government. We don't see what the evidence that was presented that to establish proof that he was in fact guilty of the crime. We don't see any of those things. So
Yeah,
that's why we're skeptical.
well, the U.S. government wouldn't have done it either. They wouldn't
Ah,
have showed you anything. A military matter is a military matter.
all right.
So, well, I mean, when people think of France and most of these higher country, especially Mali, there are a lot of Malians in France, and not only that, most of them have married to the French white women in France. Even most of them live in Bamako, in Mali, right? And you would definitely Fra- Mali cannot go without the French people. There will always be a French citizen in Mali, right? You cannot break that bond anymore. So that's why they have to be very careful. And not all of them support what France is doing. Not all the French people. They are totally against the terrorists. But again, you don't want to go around and just arrest people that have nothing
Right.
to do with what is going on
But see,
because they are French.
you can use this for propaganda. If this guy was clearly aiding, JNIM or whosoever, and you have clear evidence of it, you can use it for propaganda and show the entire world, show West Africa that France is in fact, helping these guys to fight us. They're one of the main sponsors of these terrorists. Show that evidence. Let us in the diaspora see it. Let the people on the continent see
You,
it.
but you don't know that. You don't know that evidence already. You don't have the evidence already.
I mean, what evidence do I have that's concrete? If you have real
You don't
evidence,
know that France
hold on, hold on. If you
it's
have real
aiding
evidence that you
terrorists.
can sentence somebody for 20 years, that's going to be even more pronounced than what we've come to the conclusion that France is supporting these guys. I can say, yeah, sure, it's most likely France is supporting the terrorists. But do I have
Not
concrete,
most
tangible
likely.
evidence
They
to
are.
show you?
They are. They are.
Okay, what's your evidence, Harker?
What the hell you mean? What's my evidence?
We're talking about concrete evidence. That's not just
What,
assumption or conjectures. You have to have concrete evidence to say, well,
With
based on this thing that happened in this
all the
day.
years the French military spent in the AES country, right? What did they do? What did they do?
Say that again.
With all the years the French military spent, right, in the AES countries, what did they accomplish?
I mean, you asked me to quantify. I can give you a little, nugget here, but that's just anecdotal. But I think it was in maybe 2015 or so, or maybe even 2017, when the United Nations formed a peacekeeping force that included, countries like Liberia, where we actually lost, one of our soldiers. I think his name was like Mohammed Sharif. He was killed from attack from terrorists on one of these bases. And the United Nations, in collaboration with France and other Western countries, kept Mali relatively safe from the jihadis. They didn't come as far down as Bamako, and they didn't really have a lot of, bases that they attacked. So for that period of time, Mali was relatively safe. There was still, insurrection in other parts of the country or insurgency, but they were kept safe relatively by the United Nations and some other peacekeeping force from West Africa. But my point here is, if this guy did something egregious against the Malian government and they have clear evidence, present it to the entire world, expose France, show us that you have tangible evidence against them. They're not doing it. That's my point. But I'll pass the mic.
Let me read this super chat. Defiant Brandon, you're next. Thank you for $5 holla. Dinus, you need to get back to covering Black American topics. These dudes up here every day and won't donate a quarter. Invest in the platform, guys. All right, go ahead, Brandon.
How does Brandon? How did that big fat mouth know that no one invests? How did he know that? He needs to keep his fat, stupid mouth closed.
Hey, Dinus, can you hear me? Okay.
Loud and clear.
Okay, yeah. So here's the thing, man. These African dudes, right? And we all Africans, but I'm talking particularly about these dudes in the Sahel, right? And the AES and all this crap. These dudes wanted France out their country. France left their country. Ever since France left their country, they ain't got France's name out their mouth yet. As a matter of fact, when France went to another country, a superior country like Kenya, and went to different countries and was looking to do business, they got upset that France went and entertained the idea of doing business relationship with these other countries. It's like a girlfriend. You don't want her, but you don't want nobody else to have her. These countries blame France for their problems with terrorism. The reality is just like Black America, Dinus. The leaders of these countries, the corrupt despots like Ibrahim Traore, they literally know that the people in these countries are so dumb that they could be corrupt. And as long as they just keep blaming it on France, their people will never look at them, because when they are actually the source of the problem. These dudes are making billions of dollars, Dinus, off of these business relationships. The only thing that probably was keeping them from totally bankrupting the countries was the business relationships they had with France, because at least when the European is involved, there's some accountability. You got to give him his money or he tripping. Now that the European is gone, bro, they are literally voting in dictators, and there is zero transparency as to what's going on. At least with the European, you had the IMF, you had the European Union, all these different banking infrastructure from around the world looking at the finances of those countries. Now it's just darkness. So these African countries have went back into the financial or economic dark ages. They're sitting back hoping. We're back to religion, Dinus. We are praying to the ancestors and the gods and whoever else that the dictators do the right thing, when we know from our experience that these dictators always do what's in their own best interest. That's why they won't stop talking about France. Now France is gone, Dinus. France is sponsoring the terrorists to do this. Why would France need to sponsor the terrorists when y'all ain't letting France in there to do business? Why would France sponsor terrorism in a country where they're trying to make money? That don't make sense. That's like McDonald's financing bums to come stand in front of the restaurant. That's hurting them. That's not helping them. When they got to have soldiers to make sure an oil tanker get from one part of the country to another one, that's hurting their bottom line, which is the number one goal of increasing for capitalism. Argument. That's pure ignorance. What to say about that?
Brandon, you said something right. Dinus, you should cover American topics and stay off the AES. You're always on, bringing over topics in the AES. Don't do it. Do what Brandon says. Stay on American topics or something else and leave AES out of it because it never ends up well. So leave them alone. Right? And Brandon, let them fall on their face. Right? Let the AES countries fall on their face if that's what you want. So let them do it. Since they don't know what they're doing, let them fall on their face. AES countries shouldn't be picked up again.
I mean, come on now. Dias is an international platform. He goes to Africa. He can talk on African
No,
issues.
Elvis, you hear what I say, right? It's always the AES. The AES country is always the AES countries.
No,
Right?
it's what's making the news.
So I'm saying, no, listen to what I'm saying. I'm saying if most people come on here and they said the AES is going to fail, right? They're going to drop in their face. They're not doing the shit right. So let them do it. Let them fall on their own sword, right? Let them fall on their own sword. That's what I'm saying.
We gonna criticize them the whole way down.
For me, the only criticism I have of the AES, and Dinas have a similar criticism, is that when Traore came in, he said he was going to have elections after a certain period of time. And
we went through that already. It's
right.
That's
the point. That's the point that I'm making.
So that's what I'm saying. So let them die. My thing is, let them die. Let them die.
No, that's not what we're saying. That's not what we're saying.
We have no choice. We have no choice.
I'm telling you that now. I'm telling you, let them fall in their face. Let them fall in their face.
No, we're making the prediction. We're making the prediction, and we're watching it happen in real time. You can't tell us what to talk about.
Let them die. Let them die. Let them die.
And on this particular issue, Taharka, it's about this case with this guy being found guilty and sentenced to 20 years for allegedly espionage or something to that effect, right? But we don't see the evidence. We don't see why he was.
Listen to me, boy. You guys are something else. You guys must have some schizophrenic. Listen, I'm saying, if you people think the AES is going in the wrong direction, I'm saying let them die.
I think you're generalizing. We're going issue by issue here, right? It's not about the entire AES. It's about Mali convicting this guy for 20 years of.
Brandon just went overboard, right? He said the whole thing. The AES is this, AES is that, Tories are this. You see what I'm saying? So okay, Brandon, let them die, and then laugh at them.
That's my opinion.
Brandon,
that's my opinion.
Brandon, let them die.
Holding these elections?
Let them die. Good. He's the worst. I'm agreeing with you, Brandon. He's the worst.
Okay, so why you gotta say it 500 times?
He's the worst. Let them die. Let them die.
Listen, I was the first person that came on here and said that Traore was never going to hold elections before anybody. You guys called me names. You guys told me I don't know what I'm talking about. We're 4 years out. He's still ain't held an election.
You are right. Okay, the country's going to go to hell. You're correct.
This is what I do.
The country's going to go to hell. The country's going to go to hell, Brandon. The country's going to go to hell. Let them go to hell.
I make a prediction.
No, you ain't got to make a prediction.
And then I agree with you. They're going to hell.
You're right. It's true. They're going to hell. They're going to die, and the whole country's going to burn.
Stop saying that. Really, stop saying that.
You guys should find some sympathy. No, let them die.
Dennis, can I comment?
Okay,
I
let
think
them die.
What Brendan said. I don't think if France really want these guys to have elections, because they work with other dictators. They just want all these guys to work with France, right? Because we have other dictators in West Africa that the French been working with for a long time. So their mission is not for this guy to organize any kind of free and fair election. That's not what they're looking at. But as long as you protecting France's interest, they will always want to work with you, right? Because we have the worst dictators in West Africa that, that are doing things, that don't even, in the interest of black people. If you talk about Dumuya, if you talk about all these guys from Gabon, all these guys, they are all backed by France, but they never organize any kind of free and fair election, but France, they support them, right?
CD, France don't have nothing
So,
in their country. That's why they're in Africa. They
yeah,
have
so,
nothing.
so, I know very well that we would like Traore to have organized elections, but the type of election that France want them to have is to be under the control of France. And the election is
No,
not
we
even
want
going to be fair, right?
no, we
So
want him
if
to
you say
keep
that
his
they
word.
running away from France because they want to stay in power, yeah, they can bring France on board and stay in power forever, and France will always support them.
Listen,
So that's
black
the part I
man.
don't understand. Your
Listen,
point
black
is
man.
making no sense.
We want Traore to keep his word and stop using France as a scapegoat for his own lies and corruption. You guys, your country will never improve as long as you keep
Okay,
blaming
good. Let
France.
it die.
Hey,
Let
hold
it
on.
die.
Taharka, hold on, bro. Okay, we don't need the alley. I'm talking to bro. Bro got up here and blamed the country that they said they wanted out their country. France left, and you guys are still trying to use France as a scapegoat. I see it clearly because it's the same thing my
France
community
didn't leave.
does
France
in
don't want to
America.
leave.
France
France
is
don't want to
gone.
leave.
France
France
is
don't
gone.
want to leave. France is in
It
there. They
don't
don't want to
matter.
leave.
They're out.
They're
They're
there.
gone.
They're there. No, they're not.
Where are they?
No, they're
Where are
not.
they?
No,
Where
they're
are they?
not. They're
Tell me where
there.
they are.
The
Tell me
France
where they
French
are.
is they still have French companies in these countries, bro.
Exactly. Exactly. You don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, they still have French CD. Do they have still have French
What's the name of the
Yeah, of course.
company?
They have French company or
They have
Yes.
French companies there.
of
So
course.
They
why
have the
hasn't
embassy is still there. The embassy is
so
still
why
there.
hasn't Traore drove them out since he said he wanted them out?
Well, I'm not. That's why you
Who
have to
said Tory
understand.
wanted them
You
out?
have to understand.
Oh
There are
man, now
French
the
Who
people
said
that
Tory
are.
games.
wanted them out?
There are French
Now
people
the
They
that.
wanted the
games.
military out. The military. You want the French military in America?
We don't need the French military. We can handle our own business. Unlike Burkina.
But Brandon, I
Okay,
don't
well,
think
Brandon, I'm
if Traore
saying
is
let
going
them
against
die.
France because he wants to stay in power. I don't think so. That's the point. I don't agree with you,
Hey, guys,
right?
we got somebody new on the panel. Zilwa, and shout out to JC Inc. Thank you for $1.99. Holla, the terrorists are French hired. Ziwa, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hello, my name is Willie. I'm from Burkina Faso actually, and I've been listening to you, so I wanted to chat a bit with you guys. Is that okay?
Say that
Yeah,
again. You're kind of mumbling. Say that again.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me
They say he
start from
want to
front.
contribute. Yeah.
I'm from Burkina Faso, one of the
Mhm.
country of AES, the country the guy is talking about.
Okay.
So I wanted to talk a bit about
Oh
what
yeah.
he said.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
First, he asked us a question. We kicked out France. Why would France do us bad? That means you know nothing about the history of France in Africa. Let me tell you a story what they did in Guinea Conakry. In 1960, when we decided to leave France, Guinea Conakry said they don't want nothing to do with France. They kicked out France. Before going, France burned all the records. They went out of the country, printed fake currency, and dumped it into Guinea. This is why until today, Guinean currency has no value. Don't be sitting and listening to mainstream media and think that we don't know what we're doing here in Africa. You're asking us why don't we do election? That's a good question. But from what I see from you people in the US, you are always backing Ukraine. You are always crying about Ukraine, clapping for Zelensky. The last time I checked, he was never elected. Why wasn't he elected? Because he his country is at war with Russia. We are in a
We
country,
don't support Ukraine.
Let him
hold
finish,
on,
yo.
hold on. We are in a country where we don't hold all the territory. What you're telling us to do is that some part of the country has to vote, while other part of the country cannot vote. It doesn't make sense. Either you want democracy, then we wait until we have total control of the territory and we do election, or we don't do election and it doesn't serve anything. The problem with France, and I need you to understand that, those people in our country today killing our people, they are mercenaries. They don't come from our places. They came from Libya. They were used by France to topple Gaddafi. They were used by America in Sudan. I don't know if you heard about Janjaweed. Have you heard that name before?
You're
The
talking to
Janjaweed.
Yes.
you're talking to
Yes.
informed people on the panel. Treat us as
Man,
such.
man, produce the evidence that show that France is sponsoring
Yeah.
No, no,
terrorism.
let him
All the
finish,
other
bro. Let him
nonsense
finish.
don't mean nothing.
Let him finish. Let him
Listen,
finish.
Let him finish,
listen,
bro.
Where's the
listen.
evidence?
Let him finish.
But this is what I'm telling you. If you spoke French, you just have to go on French TV. You will see they have discussion, they have panels where they say we are the one financing terrorism. When France was in Mali, they divided the country in two. And the north of the Mali were those fools that call themselves Azawad, who are people that helped them betray Gaddafi. They promised them half of Mali against them betraying Gaddafi. They speak about that just like Israel speaks about what they do. It's because you don't speak French. You can just Google it. It's open all over the place. Don't think that we don't know what we're doing. We don't care about France. Like when they went to Kenya, we didn't speak about France. It's rather Macron, the French president, that went in Kenya and spoke about us. We didn't sleep over him going to Kenya. We don't care. If Nigeria forgot what they did in Biafra, I don't know if you know what was the Biafra war. It was over. It was over oil. It was Total Energy, a French company that did that. If they forgot that, that's their business. We don't care. And Kenya is a sold country. I have no respect for Kenya. Kenya has,
Of course you don't, because they're prosperous and your country's
yeah,
not.
Let him
yeah,
finish. Let him finish,
yeah. Let me tell
Biden.
you, let me tell you, let me tell you. You know Haiti, right? You know Haiti. You know Haiti, right?
Of
America
course, we know these
was
places, right?
yeah,
Another dump.
America was so tired of destroying Haiti when they needed mercenaries to go police Haiti. Who did they pay to go do that? Kenya.
Yes, Kenya did a great
Yeah.
job too.
No, they got killed there. They got killed there like goats.
Did they get their money? They got their money.
That's what I'm
They can do
saying. That
their business.
that they are prostitutes. That's their choice. We don't need to live like
You
them.
want a village. You want to live in a village forever, bro. And you'll keep
But
your country a village because you
listen,
are
listen,
jealous. You hate
listen,
prosperity.
Okay,
listen.
I have a quick question for this guy. You said which country you from?
Burkina Faso.
All right. You said you mentioned about Guinea, right?
Yes.
So Guinea
Guinea
when
Conakry.
right. So Guinea was the only country that didn't access CFA. We know that very well, right?
Yes.
They went with Frank Guinea, and
Yes.
now they stay using Frank Guinea, which is far better for them right now economically because they're getting a lot of benefit.
Yeah.
But at the same time, do you know who is in control of Guinea right now?
He's a guy from he was working for it was a soldier with France.
Okay, his wife is
Yeah.
French, right? So
Yeah. Yes.
who now Guinea is in the hand of France now, right? Do you
Yes,
know
it
that?
is. Yes, I
Okay,
know.
so that's what I'm saying. So, no matter what,
Yeah.
all these French
And
country.
CD, think about it, right? How did he come to power? That the Ghanaians, elect him, or did he go and take and do a military coup?
He was
No,
trained by
no.
the US. He was trained by the US.
Okay,
Oh, he
yeah.
was playing by
So
the U.S. Okay.
by
Yes, he
the
was
West.
trained by the US. And there was even in the at that time I was still studying the US. They had a parliamentary inquiry into that. You can Google it.
No, no, no.
All
You
of
was not. You saying that he was trained by the U.S. U.S. always have a military operation
no,
with those
he
West.
was trained.
Let me explain to you. He was not trained. all these special forces that they have, all these West African countries, they were working with General Linsley, right? They were
Exactly.
training them with anti-terrorists. Dumbuya
Exactly.
was funded as a special forces for anti-terrorists. That's the
Exactly.
reason why he was a liaison officer in France. So when Guinea recruited him, he was not a bodyguard to the president. He came to help Mali with all
Oh,
these terrorism that is going on. So what he did, he went behind because the president at that time, Alpha Conde, went
Alpha
against the
Condé.
West. Right. When he went against the West, what they did, they went through Dumbuya. France went through Dumbuya. He overthrew the president. He killed over 200 bodyguard of the president. They didn't even recruit their body. He had a mass grave. He buried all of them, right?
Yeah.
And when he came into power, now Guinea is in the hand of France.
Now
That's what I'm. Guinea
okay,
and
let me tell.
France is the one that controlling everything that is going on in Guinea right now.
Okay.
So
First,
if you talk about Traore, yeah, we understand how Traore came into power again, but at the
mhm.
same time, France is in control of Guinea right now. Guinea is back in the hand of France. There's no way
Yes,
that
I
it's taken
agree.
from France. That's
I
hundred
agree with
percent.
that. It's not only France. That's what I was trying to explain. Doumbia actually, when he went to France, he joined what is called the Foreign Legion. He did the Foreign Legion there. He married his wife, and he came back to Guinea, and he joined the Guinean army. And while he was in the Guinean army, he was chosen to be part of that
He did not join the
counter-terrorist.
Guinea army. Did not join the Guinea
Yeah,
army. No,
he
let me
has.
explain that to you. The
Hold
guy
on, let me
who they call
finish.
Abubakar Siddiqui Kamara, that Idi Amin, he was the ambassador in Cuba during Alpha Conde time. He recommended Dumuya that he want Dumuya to come and head the special forces because he was a
Gen-
liaison officer, right?
Let
gentlemen,
me
gentlemen,
finish.
So when he
gentlemen.
came, he controlled the Guinea. He came in Alpha Conde recruiter and as a member of the special forces. And now
That's
the
what I'm
same
Guys,
guy
telling
who
you.
the same guy
guys,
who
if Dynas titled this stream "The History of Guinea and Burkina Faso," no one will watch it. People want to know what's going on and what are the solutions to fixing it, and why haven't any of
No.
these countries done anything they said
Hey,
they were going to do?
somebody's fighting their phone.
All right. So let me tell you one thing. Uh, you are asking us to do what the US could not do in Afghanistan in 20 years. You want
but
us to
our
do it
point
in
is
four
we're
years.
asking about the French the other guy arrested. Can you speak about that? What do you
Oh
think?
no. This is how
That's
this. I heard what the guy said about us producing evidence and all that. Right. It's a fair criticism. I won't argue about that. But I will ask you one thing. Have you ever seen evidence produced against the guy that got tried at Guantanamo or other things like that? No. Even in the US, it's not done. In why they do closed trial for those kind of things is because it has to do with terrorism and all that. All we know, it's a guy that came and he said he was a mechanic. That's what he said. At a certain point of time,
But
it
first
was
of all, let me just push back on that point because it's not
mm,
true.
what?
Like the one of the reason people criticize what was going on at Guantanamo Bay is because of the torture, right? Waterboarding and other things like that.
I was
And
okay with that.
of course, you're okay with that, Brandon. But the point is that these guys were torture, which is against international law. And in order for them to catch Bin Laden, to get to the
Mhm,
courier that
mhm,
eventually led them to Bin Laden,
mhm.
Al Zaquia, whatever his name is, he was tortured so severely that
Yes.
he gave up the courier, which led him to Bin Laden, and that's how
Mhm,
he got killed in Abbottabad
mhm,
in
mhm,
Pakistan. So the
mhm.
method worked, but it was inhumane or humane the
No,
way in which they did it.
and then people
But
spoke against it too. People spoke
right,
against it.
I don't,
Americans spoke against it.
Yeah.
They
I am
protested. The
not,
liberals,
I
the
am not,
Democrats.
I,
Hey,
So
I
Dynasty.
am
they
not,
didn't condone their government doing
I am not, I am
illegalities.
Um,
not, I am not talking about torture. I'm talking about trial record.
hey, you guys been going back and forth. I just
Yeah,
got on
yeah,
the
yeah,
show.
yeah.
That's what I'm talking
Let me pass the
because,
mic to Skywalker. Go ahead, Skywalker.
Okay,
okay.
Dynasty. With respect to the topic of the show, I mean, I celebrate Mali. I'm proud of Mali for catching this French spy. it was a military, probably some type of military tribunal he had to go through. I'm pretty sure that they did their due diligence to research all the evidence and make sure they had everything that they needed to come to to convict him. I mean, they gave him a 20-year conviction. In a lot of other countries, it would have been a death sentence, or maybe even a life sentence. They gave him a 20-year conviction, so it's not like they put him before a firing squad or nothing like that.
They should have.
Yeah. I mean, arguably, right, arguably. But I mean, I'm proud of Mali for enforcing their security and letting everybody know that they're a sovereign country and not gonna play around with French spies coming over trying to undermine their sovereignty. And and for people who criticizing the AES, we just gotta. I mean, for Black people criticizing the AES, we just gotta be. And that's not to say that they don't deserve criticism, right? I mean, we should make sure that they're doing everything right. I mean, or at least trying to do everything right. But what I mean to say is that as Black people, we need to be supporting independent nations that's trying to do something, at least revolutionary, different from what past regimes have done. And that's what I'm saying.
Can I ask you one question?
Hold on, bro. Let me finish, bro. Damn. Okay, and so like I was saying, people like Ibrahim Traore, who's improved the infrastructure, doing all type of stuff in Burkina Faso, Mali, who's proved that that FAMA, the Great Malian army, is no joke by quelling the invasion of Bamako. And making the terrorists look like assholes, and just straight mutilating these bastards, and also in Niger, who's also another perfect example of what African independence is supposed to look like. As Black people, we supposed to be applauding these people and not constantly trying to raise them to the standard of our Eurocentric perspectives as a result of the Eurocentric education that we've been got. That we've underwent or that we've read in these white libraries and white schools. We're constantly trying to fit African problems put it up under the lens or into the circle of European perspectives and ideologies and it doesn't work. Amos Wilson teaches us that very, very clearly that is just not going to work. That's why Black people got to be careful reading books on power written by white folk. Right? Like
don't equate Amos Wilson to this garbage you talking. That's garbage.
Let me finish.
Brother, like I was got finished. Stop.
Like exactly, bro.
Stop bringing up Amos Wilson.
Brandon, bro, you got white conservative dicks in your mouth so much. Sit back.
Amos Wilson would never agree with nothing you say.
Yeah. Hold on. Let him finish. Go ahead, Skywalker.
Hey, can he get a penalty for that insult, though?
Brandon, you have your time to retort.
Exactly,
let the man finish.
So dicks in the mouth is okay.
Hold on.
Brandon, stop.
Hold on. Pause. So Skywalker, we're starting a no cussing. So none of that, but go ahead.
I didn't know that. Give me a benefit of the doubt. I just been on the show.
Well, now you know.
Okay, I know now. Okay, so excuse me. But anyway, like I was saying, we're constantly trying to fit these things, and like Amos Wilson teaches us, we got to be careful about reading books on power by white folk and constantly trying to come to these or apply the rules of power for the same people who done took your power, the same people who are dominating you in various type of ways, and trying to think that apply to the rules of power when it come down to a people who are oppressed. It just doesn't apply, brother. I mean, it just don't work that way. We're supposed to be doing exactly what we're doing on the wheel of power. And the only Black leaders that I can see on the planet right now who are engaged in the true Black will to power, it's the AES. Everybody else are just, it's just puppets, neo-colonial puppets. They're not serious about no power. They're not putting their lives on the line. They don't got people trying to assassinate them every day. People trying to undermine their government every day for what they're doing. So as Black men, we're supposed to be celebrating what these Black folks doing and quit trying to put them into your white masters' ideologies. And I'm done. I'm gone, Don. I'll see you later.
Hey, wait, I want to ask that guy a question. I want to ask him, does he have a single shred of evidence that this guy who was convicted was actually a French informant? Because from what I read,
do you have the evidence that he's not?
Wait.
Let me answer your question.
Do you have the evidence that he's not? Brandon, slave.
You can't interrupt. So I can't interrupt everybody. Listen, I just want this brother. I want this.
Skywalker. Let Brandon finish, and then you can answer the
Okay, go
question.
ahead.
I want this brother to tell me what was the critical piece of proof or evidence where they said it is irrefutable that this guy is a French informant. What was it?
Is it a military matter, Brandon? It's a
God
military matter.
dog. God dog.
Dynasty. Okay, so now the answer to your question, first of all, bro, that's not even your standard for finding out if he's guilty. That's not even the American standard, right? I mean,
Exactly. You don't have any evidence.
Let me finish. Like I said, it's beyond a reasonable doubt, which means that you don't have to. You can have doubt. I mean, it said you still can have doubt and convict someone, right? And so,
You have to have evidence to convict
it has to
someone.
be beyond a reasonable doubt in a criminal matter. It can't be
Dinus,
Not in a military trial, Elvis.
Guys, one mic. We're not doing this.
Now,
hold on, Skywalker. I'm talking. Hold on. Skywalker has a minute to respond. Nobody interrupt. Go ahead, Skywalker.
Okay. Like I said, and Dinus, you know what? I don't need to have any evidence from the Malian government. Their word is enough for me. I don't got to. I don't got to put them up on some type of justice system that the white man done developed that Brandon is so loyal to. And don't get me wrong, I love the American public. I'm a diehard African American, right? I guess you could put me up under the FBA camp, even though I'm not with all that bullshit. I'm a Pan African too. But for the most part, I don't care how they got to justice. I trust them, and that's all I got to say about it. Okay, so I'm gonna holler at you guys. You guys,
if you went to Africa and they arrested you, you would be hollering, "I'm an American. I have rights. I have to have a lawyer." You'll be crying for all the things you enjoy in America, man.
Let me land my plane. Let me land my plane. Exactly what I was saying. These people want a world of lawlessness. They think so low. Hold on. They think so low of our brothers and sisters in the continent that
would you say the same thing about Israel?
Can you tell him to stop? Can you please tell him to stop interrupting me?
Would you say the same thing about Israel?
Dinus, can you please stop Taharka from interrupting me, please? Listen. When you do business, when you no, it's my question.
Let him speak, CD.
It was my question.
Let him speak.
Listen, when you employ people on the African continent, when you are have brotherly relationships with African people, you want them to have what you enjoy in your country, which is a fair legal process. Because I'm the guy who, if one of my brothers in Africa get railroaded by corruption, I'm the guy who's going to be trying to foot the damn bill to keep this guy out of jail so he could be there to provide for his kids. You guys hate Africa. You hate Africa because your ego is offended by the idea that an African could maybe one day have the same thing you enjoy in America. You don't want Africa to improve. You want Africa to stay on a low level of existence so you could always have the fit financial and economic high ground on them. I want Africans to enjoy the same freedom and the same systems as we enjoy in America.
Anybody that said they don't care about rule of law is not on the right side of history. You have to care about the rule of law. You can't say you don't care about evidence. We live by evidence in this country. And globally, we should live by evidence. You can't accuse somebody and say, I don't care about the evidence. That's wrong.
I'd like to ask a question to Brandon, please. Brandon, I've been listening to you. It's like, thank God I've been in the US. You see, I've studied there, and I know that all you said is bullshit. You guys are getting killed on the street for nothing. That is
not true.
Due process and whatever. I've been.
So why are we dead? So why are me and Dinus dead? Me and Dinus live here. Why haven't we got killed in the street yet?
Hold on.
You tell me why haven't we got killed in the street?
No, Brandon, let him speak. Let him speak, Brandon. You got the floor.
But Brandon, let him talk.
Hold on.
So let me ask you this question: How long?
TD, he got the floor. Please let Zewa finish.
Listen, police brutality in the US is a fact. Okay, you can't argue that with me. That's a fact. I've seen the conviction rate of African American. I know how you guys ended up in prisons there.
Yeah, because we be doing a lot of crime.
That's up to you. You're free to believe that. But I'll go.
No, I know that. It's not a belief.
You think African Americans ended up in prison? All of them was wrongfully convicted?
bro.
No, I'm not.
Okay,
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. But I've read Nixon advisor confession on how the war on drug was used to put African American men in jail. He said that it's open. You
nah,
can
we
Google
was
it.
selling and using drugs. That's why we was put
Okay,
in jail.
that's up to
Brandon,
you.
shut your
Yeah,
face, man.
the
Stop
Listen,
it.
sentences were excessive, but certainly there were
you
crimes
no, you
Dennis,
crimes were
cannot.
committed.
Dennis,
Brandon, shut
Listen.
up. You don't know nothing,
who is
bro.
Larry Hoover? Who is Big Meech?
Man,
Who's all
But
these
man.
people
that's
since
a
we
fact.
wasn't
What
doing
he's saying
nothing?
right now that
Listen, you can go on
they
Google.
use drugs to
The guy
destroy
said
black
we
neighborhoods.
knew
Who's
they.
Yeah,
Freeway
that's the
Ricky
truth.
Ross?
We
Listen,
definitely we
listen,
all know
listen,
that.
listen, listen. The guy said in 1991 on TV, we knew that we were lying about drugs with the African Americans. They were using drugs at the same level as white. We used them to disrupt their neighborhood, their communities. It's on Google. Just
Well,
go
That's
yeah,
a
look
we
it up.
fact.
know,
That's true.
Okay,
Brandon, no, he's
true.
just
but
trying to play
now
stupid. He knows.
let's go
Brandon, no, he's
currently.
just trying to play stupid.
Currently, the US is busy killing people in high sea, bombing boats because it believes they are drug traffickers. You've killed hundreds of people since Trump have been
And
in
we're
power.
gonna get hundreds more,
Hold
maybe
on,
even thousands.
hold on. Nobody came and asked you for proof that they were
Yeah,
drug
yes, we
traffickers.
did.
No,
You're
people in the
asking,
U.S. Senate was asking Trump, why is he killing those people on the official
yeah,
boat?
but is he
People
still
ask
killing?
questions.
He
Yeah,
knows
yeah,
No,
but
exactly.
that's
They
what
know
I'm telling this
exactly
guy.
why.
People
listen.
ask questions
Is
all the
he
time when
still?
something like that
Is he
happen in the
still?
US.
Is he
People ask
still killing?
questions.
Is he still killing them? Yes or no?
Yeah, but people
He
still
is.
ask
Yeah, but people
questions.
He
So
want
is.
if you ask
accountability for it.
questions,
That's
then
what
you
we're
ask
asking for
Listen,
questions.
too.
He asked me
listen.
the question. Yes, Trump's still killing them, and he should continue
We're
to
not
kill
saying
them.
what he's saying is not true, but
No,
the thing is, people will always question things like that
but
what
who
happened
told
in
you
the
that?
It's
US.
Who
all
told
That's
you?
what we expect.
context.
When
Who told
what is
you
going
that?
on
It's
in
out of
Mali, when they
context.
arrest this French guy, yeah, we're
Who
not
told
saying that
you?
he's not terrorist,
Who told
but we
you?
want them to bring more evidence, bring transparency. That's all we
But
want.
have you been? Have you been? We didn't kill somebody. We put somebody in jail for 20 years because
On what merit? That's the
Oh
question.
my
On what
God.
merit?
because we accusing him of being a spy.
Yeah, you accuse him, but you got to prove it.
But when you prove that all the people you killed were drug
Oh
traffickers,
my
then you
God!
come
So
to us.
that's your point. So
Yeah,
since
that's my
America
point.
did it, you're gonna do it too. You got to prove it,
No,
man.
what I'm saying is that you guys cannot sit there while you're busy killing people and asking us to
Oh,
justify things.
oh
That's not how it
boy.
works.
Hey,
No. Listen to me.
the
What you
African
said
will
is
vote.
true, 100%. What America is doing is completely wrong. You
No,
will
it's not.
find out that almost 90% of the Americans don't support that at all, right?
That's a
But the
lie.
authority is doing it.
77
But the
million
Hold
people are
on,
Americans
still
voted
Brandon.
for
Let
it.
CD
questioning.
speak. It's CD's time. You got the floor.
Yeah, people still
Well,
questioning it.
speak with
So
facts.
if we're not saying France is not supporting the terrorists, yes, of course, there are some evidences in certain part. But if this guy is arrested, we want transparency, we want his full name. We don't even know his full name. And
His name
this
is
guy was a
Vincent. Is
diplomat. So we don't want some transparency. Do you remember? Do you remember that when Mali arrested the Ivorian military, they were in prison for coup d'état?
mhm.
Are you aware of that?
Yes, the people that came in their country with the military cargo.
They were
No,
found to
no,
be
no,
not
no.
guilty, and they were
No,
released.
there was a peace. They were there to help the Malian to fight the terrorism,
Peacekeeping.
and right,
Right.
and they arrested them, and they put them in prison. That
And
they
they
were there to
propagandized
overthrow.
those people
Right,
that they were working on behalf of the French in
right,
collaboration with Ouattara, and none of
No,
that
right.
was
this
true.
this
So
no this no.
why Mali freed them? Do you know the reason why?
Tell me,
Yeah.
He said,
tell
"Tell
me.
them."
Okay. So when they arrested this guy, they were in prison for almost 2 years.
Mm-hmm,
Senator Goodlaw,
mm-hmm,
Boni Ayi from Benin, the former president of Benin, they went and
mm-hmm,
negotiated with the Malian that you
mm-hmm,
have to free the Ivorian military. They were here to
mm-hmm,
help you guys,
mm-hmm.
right? So it's almost they said, well, these guys then came, they were on the list, but they were not part of the United Nations peacekeeping force. Why they end up being on the list? But that is different from you accusing them of treason that they were there overthrow the Malian government, right?
Let me ask
And
you a
they
question.
went through the due process and those guys were free,
Let me
right?
ask you a question.
So
Let me ask you a
no,
question.
I'm telling you, you asked me how they got free. So if that was an embarrassment on the Malian government part, because you cannot go and arrest your own neighboring
Yeah.
that's
And Mali
Mali.
is angry right now. What happened to the to Kamara, right? So they're probably, retaliating against France or anybody they think was, complicit in that operation. So who knows? Well, you need evidence to prove it,
Yes.
man.
So
Listen,
that's what we
the thing
want. I
in
mean,
Mali, the thing that happened with those soldiers, it's because that plane landed with a problem with the manifest. That manifest created a whole issue. When that plane landed, there were women in that plane. They were free the same day they went back. It's the men that were kept because I think that they are just done that coup d'état or whatever. They were really nervous and all that, and they grabbed them. Eventually, they were released.
They kept him in jail for almost 2 years, bro.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's the highest
Yes.
level of
Yes.
accusation that someone want to
Yeah.
overthrow your government, and they found it was not
What
true.
do you
And
think
that's
will
the thing with
happen? No.
military government. They can do things carte blanche without the rule of law behind it. That's why I'm
Man,
skeptical.
the biggest country on earth that does things with
Oh,
carte blanche
stop
is
this
the US.
nonsense with the biggest country.
No, yeah,
We're
yeah.
talking about the rule of law in Mali right now.
Start by doing that in your country, then you come to us.
Oh boy.
Oh my God!
If
You
they
guys
catch
just
one of your family members in Burkina Faso and start to, I hope you don't
no,
come to the West and say that they're torturing my family member. He didn't do anything wrong. He's
man, don't worry
innocent.
about that. I studied in your country and I came back to my country. I don't really need to stay there.
Yeah, but we're
Oh.
not saying but we're not saying what you did is right. But we all criticize America if they do something wrong. Even people at
What
Congress will
I'm telling you,
criticize
what
them.
I'm telling you is that even we here, we know nothing about what happened in that trial. They said
Of
it was a
course.
close, it
What
was a
shows
close
that
trial.
it was obfuscated from the public eye.
That's what I'm telling you. Even if you go in the US, you look for everything that has to do with counter insurgency, you won't
And the
find.
burden is even higher, based being that this is an international person. This is a person from a foreign
Why?
national. You can't
Why?
just treat him any kind of way. There's certain,
Why?
because this
It,
is an international thing. You have
no,
an issue with France that can cause even more conflict
what
for Mali.
if I come to your country and do a crime, you will use your law
You
and
have
fix
to
me
prove
though.
it that I did a crime.
But you're not even explaining to us why the
Right.
Ivorian
What is the
military were
crime?
arrested.
And what evidence do you have that I did this crime?
That's what I'm telling you. I'm telling you that this has to do with intelligence, counter insurgency. Those are not
That's what
public
they
things.
said. They have to show the evidence to it.
Oh my God.
I mean, don't you
Okay,
like evidence as a
so
rational
would
human
you
being?
agree
Don't you
with
want
me
evidence?
that the arrested Ivorian military and they were innocent? They just
Okay.
Will you agree? I'm asking you. My question
Mm,
is, why
mm.
they free them? Do you think it was wrong to arrest this guy and kept them for 2 years?
If they were innocent, it was wrong.
Of course, and they were innocent.
Yes, of
Even
course. That's
for
what.
instance, let me take an example that happened in Burkina Faso. You know that a guy that was alleged to be spy was caught here and later released. You,
What's
you
his
knew
name?
about that?
Call his name. What is his name?
I forgot his name. I don't really care about those guys.
Yeah, but
One
we
guy.
want info because we want to make
No,
sure
you
that what
can
you
you
say
can
is true or
Google
not.
that.
So he
No,
was
we don't
released
have to
because
Google anything that we don't even know
he
about
wasn't
them.
he wasn't a spy, right?
Not because he wasn't a spy,
Okay,
because
why was he released?
the king of Morocco intervened and France released some money that belonged to Burkina Faso before
Mm,
Burkina Faso released that guy.
okay,
Okay.
so they traded
Because
him for.
Burkina Faso, what happened, that's why sometimes I'm not saying that everything they do is good. What happened is that Burkina Faso had given some money to France to purchase some weapons. When the coup happened, France decided not to honor the contract and decided to keep the money.
Right.
So there
So
was there was
they
one.
kidnapped the guy and held him for
Hold
ransom until
on,
France
hold
released the money.
on, no,
That's
hold
the whole
on.
play.
There was one guy that was coming, I think, from France, and at the airport, they went through his phone or whatever, and they found pictures of what they call strategic position or whatever. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. That's what they say.
He had that in his phone. They showed it on TV. Now, if it's true, I don't know, but they showed the phone
Yeah,
and the
but you're not even
pictures.
giving her a name. You're not giving her information that
It's
we will
long
try to
time
discuss.
ago.
And
No, but you know all these details. You don't know the guy's name. Give us his name.
yeah,
Yes,
We can
because I
research
really,
on
I
our
really,
own.
I really don't care. I will look for it, and
no, but
when
this
I'm
is your
done.
country. Are you not
Man,
Burkina
you
B?
really think that with all the troubles we have here, I will worry about the name of a
But
French
you
guy?
know so many details about this case. How can you not know the guy's
Because
name, brother?
that's the main story. That's all I care about. I don't care about the person that did it.
Oh, come on. You
But
sound
I'll
like an
find his
informed
name.
guy. You should be able to retain his information.
No, I
Yeah.
can't. No, I want to. I can find his name, but I just didn't keep it in my head. But what happened is that the king of Morocco intervened, and the guy said, "Tell France to give us our money back, and we give back his guy."
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. You held him as for
It's a
ransom.
ransom, right?
Yeah,
That's it. That's
if
what I'm saying. This is what these guys do. That's why I say another angle could
I,
be if
I
Mali is
think
going
I
through
think
something
I
with
think
France, they're holding him until France capitulate on something, then
I
they
think
release him to
I
France.
think
Maybe that's what it is.
Maduro is in jail in the US for oil in Venezuela, right? Country do what they have to do.
Right. So you're saying in this case, I know you're not Malian, but this case probably could be this guy probably didn't do whatever they said he did, but they
No,
sentenced him to this long sentence.
no, I
Now
think
they're
what
going to
they
get into hold on. They're going to get into negotiation with France, and they're going to probably ask for something, and France is going to realize that their
yes,
citizen.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. I think what they do. I don't think that they pick random guys. They don't do that.
No, they
They
pick
know
somebody that is important. They pick somebody that
that's
has some
important.
cachet.
So for sure that person is important for France. That's why they picked him.
Right.
Now I can't say that he spied or whatever. Those are things we will never know. We will never
Yeah.
know.
Okay,
And for
but then
real,
now you contradicting yourself again.
hold
That's
on.
you
I'm
made the
just
point that we made.
no for real in the spy world. When they catch you, they will kill you. In
No, no,
That's not
reality,
that's
but
that's
you
not necessarily
contradicting
true,
yourself.
man.
You contradict
man.
yourself.
No,
But they
I'm not
had a
contradicting
trial. In order
myself.
to have a trial and use evidence to establish proof, they had
Even
to have enough evidence to establish
Can I
proof. They need to share that with
Listen,
you.
add something to
listen.
the
Everything
conversation?
that you're saying
Hey
everywhere.
right
guys,
now,
let
right?
me pass the mic to Mansec. Go ahead, Mansec.
Hey, peace and love to the chat. Hope everyone's doing well. I definitely want to add to this conversation about this guy named Yan. Especially to respond to Brandon saying that how do we know? Well, one of the DGSE, I think directors, if I'm not mistaken, came out in an open public interview and he admitted that Mali had one of their agents in their custody. So it's not something that's speculated because you have to understand that they do have intelligence on certain things, conversations, paperwork, or whatever you want to call it. Then that's not just doing this just to have some propaganda. Because this guy Jan is the same guy that was involved allegedly of trying that destabilized Libya. So he has a track record of doing this. France has a track record, and if you don't want to believe me, you can see what happened recently in Madagascar, which the other French diplomat also got arrested for doing destabilization in Madagascar. So what I can say about this sets a precedent, meaning that if you come to these AS countries and your plan is to destabilize, I hear a lot. I hear an echo. Okay, if your plan is to come and destabilize those countries, and you get caught, you're gonna be set an example of. You know what I'm saying? So it's very good that this guy got sentenced to 20 years. If I'm not mistaken, it was 20 years after he gets off, he pays a fine, and also he has a 20-year ban. By that time, he becomes an old man. And France is mad and bitter, saying that this should have never happened to a diplomat. But hey, listen, you don't go to different countries trying to destabilize them, man, because you just don't like what they're doing.
All right. So Zigwa, the guy from Burkina Faso. So when you come
Well, hold
here,
on. We
every
got a new call. We got a new caller. Akwasi Owusu. Go ahead. Unmute yourself. Akwasi, unmute yourself. Akwasi, unmute yourself.
this guy don't understand English. Okay, Daniel. So my thought that this guy from Burkina Faso, right? So you hear what Masache said. So when you come on the show, everybody that you see on the show, they are African. Nobody is dumb here. Everything that you've been saying, we all inform about Africa a lot. That's why we spend the whole night here talking about Africa. So when you come here and start talking about things, you got to mention the name and details. But you can't just come and just talk and
Listen,
without mentioning the detail.
I
But
put the
you know that you're not getting your research correctly. So you
listen.
saying
I
that you
put
want to
the
school,
article.
yes, but you're not giving anything detailed information or anything that
I
you're saying.
put I put the article is because there were no name. That article is from AP. Look at in the chat. Is what I told you that is in there.
Right, but I mean, we want the detail the information,
That's
whatever that you
that.
say, and you're not
That's
giving
why
us that.
I told you what happened in Burkina Faso. They were caught. They said they were IT guys. The country says they were DGSP. Morocco intervened. The money flew. They left. That's it. That's the article.
Yeah, Dan is the guy is back.
Yeah, Akwasi, go ahead. And I clicked on a link for the article. It said article unavailable. Akwasi, unmute yourself. Akwasi, unmute
Hello.
yourself.
Okay, hello.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. So I have been listening to you guys for a while, and I want to give my opinion about the topic. I think when it comes to the history of Africa, we need to dive deep and get the background information before we react with our emotion. Because the issue with the so-called Francophone African, just using the word because there's no better word to use for them, they had an independence, but it wasn't an independent, just like any other African countries. So we need to analyze and see what is really going on. There is a decree called the Pact for Continuation of Colonization, which France, at the gunpoint, forced all these Francophone countries to sign. And in that pact, these countries have to deposit their national reserve. I'm talking about their currency, the foreign currency reserve in France. And if they need it, they have to take it as a loan with commercial interest. Even though France has invested this money on their stock market, making billions of dollars. And this so called democracy that they have imposed on Africa is all because they have the upper hand to twist and turn who they put in position to do their bidding. On top of that money that all these francophone countries are sending to France, in the pact for continuation of colonization, even though they have given you independence, every resources, mineral resources, discovered and yet to be discovered, France have the first right of refusal. So if you go to all those countries, their oil, gold, uranium is being mined by France national company. Okay, your language of instruction have to be France in French. Your military pact is only by France. You only sign the military pact with France. No other country can train you. If you need equipment, you have to get it from France. France have to approve it. So do you call those countries? And if they are fighting back for their country, and we are sitting here with emotion, thinking that these people are just greedy, they don't know what they are doing, we need to do a deep dive. And also, there has been some suggestion. I hope you guys can hear me. Hello?
We're
Yeah,
hearing you,
but
brother.
we
Go
wanted
ahead.
to
Go
know
ahead.
why this French guy was arrested.
No,
That's what I'm
no.
talking
Okay,
about.
so all this while, these countries, this so-called president, they are not president. Okay, they are not elected; they are selected by the person who controls the upper hand. You think you have independent countries, they are not independent. So if you see poor African countries, don't think they are weak in mind and all that. We were all taught miseducated by the system. And thank God we are in information well. So now we can dive deep. And so, even some people think this African sellers and all that. You need to go and read the decree that was released just recently by Rome about how they decree to for the Roman Catholics sign for them to conquer and put any country they deem as non-Christian into perpetual servitude. And then we think and we sit there and think we sell each other. Really? Are we
We
that
did. We
were they
did
that
sell each other
stupid?
during the
We
slave trade,
did, we
brother.
Okay,
did. But do you
I
think
mean,
Ghana is independent? Do you think Ghana
yeah,
is independent?
I'm saying that most countries in Africa
Yeah, how
is
about
not
Ghana?
independent.
How about Ghana?
Ghana, I don't think is independent. I mean, don't you see the sign
Okay.
of the
What
colonialism?
country are you from? We're
He's from
from
Ghana.
Ghana
He's
based on your
Ghanaian.
name.
It's from
I'm from
Ghana.
Ghana. I'm Ghanaian, but
Okay.
I see
All
the
right.
signs of colonization everywhere. Why do we have to even speak English to begin with? and we are not educated. I don't want to go too deep into the
Well, our
politics.
question here to you, brother, is this guy was
Mhm.
convicted and sentenced to 20 years without evidence that we can see to verify. Do you think that's right? What is your thought on it?
I do think that if you want the evidence, you should go to the grounds and
Okay.
dive deep, because all this while, most of the coup d'etat that has happened in African countries, it wasn't initiated by even Africans. It was backed by the colonial rulers. And we think the Africans are just dumb and they just like violence. No, go deep. Most of there's a research there. There's information there. Most of the coup d'état that happened in those francophone countries, 80% was initiated by France because they want to put their puppet in place. So if you are not doing their bidding, you think you are a president and you have signed it. Your presidents have been forced at the gunpoint to sign this pact for continuation of colonization, and you come to office and you are debriefed about the agenda, and you think you're going to be a president. How are you going to rule with all these stipulations in place? But people are not aware of it, so they talk with emotions without evidence. So the issue about Africa is not on the surface level.
We're talking about
So
evidence
this
now.
guy, let me say, the guy that has been arrested, let me tell you what these people do. Most of the insurgencies, it doesn't just spring out of nowhere. Most of the places where the insurgencies are occurring is because they have discovered mineral resources and they want it dirt cheap. Okay, so right now they are not coming to colonize you directly, but they are going to create a crisis. And as the crisis is going, they are going to bring you a solution. And as the solution is going, they maneuver their way, manipulate to get on your mineral resources. Okay, look at Africa. Everywhere there's a crisis, there is a mineral deposit resources that need to be mined. So connect the dots. Let's analyze and connect all those dots. So this guy that has been arrested, he wasn't arrested for nothing. What
Right.
is his reason in this poor African country anyway? What's his
He
reason for?
He allegedly works for the French embassy in Mali,
I'm,
so he has
I
a
mean,
reason to be
Exactly.
there.
I mean to be
Now he's a diplomat,
He's a
hold
diplomat.
on, to be
allegedly.
I was going to say, to be fair, even with the U.S. when they arrest people, especially when they go through the government, you don't hear about the evidence and stuff. It's behind closed doors. To be fair,
Yeah,
That's what
but
I've been trying to say.
I'm just saying this to be fair.
They say that if the guy was arrested and trial and sentenced for 20 years, and we know nothing, we know withheld his name. It's just said whatever his V, his last name. I think somebody put it in the chat. Well, my point here is, if this guy is allegedly trying to undermine the Malian government, why not expose it to the entire world? Why not show tangible proof that
I mean,
yes, France is
I
trying to
mean,
destabilize it? Why is
I
it a
mean,
secret?
so I mean, if that's the case, then that should be applied for all governments around the world. They don't do the same thing.
But Mali tried to. Mali tried at the
Well,
UN. Mali tried to show proof that France was the one behind the jihadists, and France blocked that session.
you know
Go at
what?
the UN. Go
Let me
and
tell
Google
you, bro.
UN session. Mali tried.
This is not first time France has tried to intervene in the African countries. Like I've told you, when they were colonizing Africa and they were supposed to leave, they didn't leave. They
Right.
forced them to sign a pact called the continuation of colonization, and it is on the internet if you want to read more about it. So they have been intervening in Africa long before the 1960s. They came, they never left, and they are still there. And these people, AES, is organic. That's why they are facing problems. Any of those coups that has the backing of these colonial rulers, they are free to do what they are doing. Why does AES keep having problems?
yeah, just 1 second.
Because
I just want to research it quickly. Yes, the U.S. does openly release evidence against convicted spies.
So they do release the evidence of
Not from
for it.
the, but I'm saying as far as like they don't release like the evidence publicly.
They
It's
just said it.
behind closed
They
doors.
openly released the evidence. Go Google it real quick. I thought what you said was right, so
Okay,
I went and Google it, but it's not. It's to the
so
contrary.
so for example,
U.S. released evidence.
so that guy who killed the I mean who unalived the United CEO guy, you know, his trial is not. Yeah,
Mangione.
Mangione.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's on trial right now. What are you
Yeah,
talking about?
he's in Brooklyn. But the thing is, I think France, that what this guy from Ghana said is true. The guy from Burkina Faso, the guy from France. It's going to be really, really difficult for France to control Africa going forward, right? People are well informed now. They're going to find it very difficult. And people thought that they have total independence, but now they're finding it different that now we never had independence, So France going to find it very difficult to control most of these African countries. They're going to find it very difficult. I mean, they're trying to go to Kenya and all of that. I don't think that's going to solve the problem for them. But people are aware of everything that is going around them, and it's going to be very difficult for them to control, the situation.
I would like to tell you one thing. If you want to know why Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso are so focused about France, it's because of what happened in Cote d'Ivoire. Because I have dual citizenship. Back then, when when Bagbo, I don't know if you guys know about Bagbo. When
Yep.
Bagbo became president, do you know who removed Bagbo? It was France with the help of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. Not the current people, the previous one. So we literally went there, did a civil war for 10 years because my mother is Ivorian, my father is Burkina. That's why we left Ivory Coast to come to Burkina Faso. We bombed
Yeah,
that
but
guy.
Babo lost the election and refused to
No,
go.
that's not true. That's not
I
true.
How you gonna tell me? He's my kingsman. You
Man,
know,
he
But he
did
did.
not lose the election, man.
he lost the
Even
election, bro.
right now, the people that did that, that's what I told you. There's a guy called Robert Bougri. Robert Bougri, he used to work for France Afrique. He clearly said last year on TV, Gbagbo had won the election. They just
Nah,
didn't want
he
him.
lost a lot
No,
of the
no, no.
Baoulés.
We all know Babu is Pan African, but he lost the election. He refused to
No,
leave.
that's what I'm telling you. The people that did it, if you spoke French, you know, one thing I like about Europeans, when time goes by, they will come and tell you what they did happily. They will even write books about that. The guy name is Robert Bougre. He even
So okay,
explained
go
how
ahead. Explain what happened.
he
Since
even
maybe you
explained
have
how
information we don't have.
When Sarkozy said he wanted Gbagbo out, it was Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger that helped. The people that fought Gbagbo out of Cote d'Ivoire were people that came from Burkina, Mali, Niger, from the north.
We know.
So the memory of that, and you remember the guy that is there right now is the guy France wanted there. That's why the guy has been in power 4 times. He was supposed
Yeah,
to do
boy, you
only.
gotta understand the demographics of the Ivory Coast, right? Or like Cote
I
d'Ivoire.
am. I know I'm from there. Don't worry
Okay,
about
but I'm
that.
saying I also have people from there. My
Yeah, he
people
have
come
people
from
from
where.
there.
Right.
Yeah.
But
My people come from where. Hold on. My people come from where Babo is. You know the Grand West, right? The Grand
yes,
West.
yes.
That's where most of his constituents are. With the Crews,
Mm,
the Yakubas or the
mm-hmm,
Dons in that region, the Goros,
mm-hmm,
the
mm-hmm,
Ways. Those are his people, right? And
mm-hmm,
he had a collaboration with the Baule. He
mm-hmm.
married a con woman from Grand
Ebie,
Bassam.
Amin,
Yeah, for
yeah.
I knew a woman from Grand Bassam. So we
Mm-hmm,
know the dynamics. He had a lot of
mm-hmm,
Baule supporters, which is the predominant ethnic group in the country. He
mm-hmm.
lost them during the election. He lost a lot of them. Those are the people that would have won him the election because just to prove by himself can't win him a election. The northern people, along with the Baule, they outpower him in terms of electorate, and
Okay.
they
And
give
before
him the
that, he
vote.
even killed Robert Gay. Do you know that he killed Robert Gay?
Yeah, Robert Guid,
Yes.
he
Me,
He
I don't
betrayed
know.
Robert Gay. So
I don't know
what you
what to
talking about?
say.
He lost the election. He refused to
The
leave. I
people,
mean,
the
I'm a
people.
big fan
Hold
of
on.
Bible. Definitely,
All
I
I'm
am.
saying, the
But
people themselves that did that, I mean, the French people, the French secret agent that did that to Babu, wrote a book and he said Bagbo won the election. If you say he
No,
lost, fine,
No, 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 no.
yeah, he
fine.
lost.
All I'm saying is that right now, under Burkina Faso, you have Blaise Compaoré. He's in Cote d'Ivoire.
Yeah, I know
You
that.
have you
We know.
have you have Alassane Draman Ouattara, who is Cote d'Ivoire. So all those people at the north, they are afraid of that guy because right now he's implanting military bases around the borders.
Who are they afraid of?
Alassane Ouattara,
Oh, they're
because that's
afraid of the
where,
people in the
yeah,
Sahel. They're afraid of him.
yeah,
The guy's 80 years old, man. He got 140 in the
Let,
grave. He'll be
let
dead
me
within
let
the next
me
5
let me
years.
tell you why they're afraid of him. Right now, he agreed for the American to have a drone base close to the border, and that how you call it, those planes that fly to a reconnaissance plane, right? That's how you call
Right.
it.
Yeah.
The
Recon.
French, it's there. So those people at the north, because they remember how they were used to do what was done to Burkina Faso. Everything that is done by Ivory Coast is interpreted to the same lens.
Yeah, well, I guess, I mean, now you know you're Burkina Faso. When St. James is on here, your brother, your fellow Burkina Faso, when we talk about
Mhm.
these things, they know some of the treacherous things that Burkina Faso, even Mali and Niger did against other
Yes.
African
Mhm.
countries.
Yeah.
And now they want all the African countries to be on their side, even though they partook in some of the downfall of some of
No,
these
but
African countries.
those guys are young. Those are because I know that Burkina Faso with the old guy, he was involved in Liberia, in Sierra Leone.
Exactly.
He was in everything. Even the young guy, Ibrahim Traore, even told on TV. He said, "What we are talking about now, that's what we did to people back then."
There you go.
So that's why they are afraid right now. And I truly believe that they think something is going to be done to them because Alassane is not a small guy. He can make things happen.
Yeah, he's taking over Hugh Bonnier's position as the Godfather, the French
Yeah,
Godfather in West Africa. That's what he did
he
to
can make things
Sankara.
happen.
So I mean, for me, I'm not even really against the Sahel. I'm really am not. The point here is we're seeing some of the tendencies of dictators in West Africa coming out of Traore. Not because he's not doing well with the infrastructure and other things, but when you start to clamp down on the people's liberties and free speech and and freedom of assembly, freedom of
The
association, those things
Okay,
are dictatorial.
Nah, I gotta
I get
disagree with
that
you on
part.
that because Paul
Okay,
Biya, Patrice Talon, Alison Watadi they do the exact same thing.
Oh yeah, and we
But
criticize them
then,
for it too.
but
but let
I'm
me ask
saying
you a
because you're
question.
calling him a dictator. He's not a dictator.
I
Who
think because he was not
I said,
elected,
I
that's
don't know
what
if you heard what I said again. I said some of the
I heard
tendencies
what
of a
you said.
dictator, some of the
I
tendencies
heard
of
you.
a dictator are showing himself with his actions that he's taking against the citizens of the country.
have
But
you
what I'm
heard
saying
about
that because the way you're making it seem is like people at all can't have no criticism in Burkina Faso, and that's just not true. People
That's not
have
what I said.
disagreements. Don't The only thing that they probably might disagree on is like you're not going to undermine the military, the people who's actually fighting for the
and
people in
religion
Burkina
too,
Faso. Yeah, and that
and
also
He's
religion.
claiming down on religious rhetoric.
Yep,
He
yep.
claimed down on people who criticize him, put him on the
But
front lines.
Elvis,
That's been proven.
did you hear what the Imam said about Ibrahim Traore?
Yep.
You heard what he said?
Yeah, he made a vague, a threat
No,
about people
no,
who
he
are
didn't.
against Islam. Islam has a way of, going against
No.
them or something like that.
This is what he did. He called the people from Burkina Faso, the government he called them Abu Jahal. If you know who that guy is,
Yeah,
that's a
we
guy
know
from
Abu Jahal. Yeah, he
right.
was.
They called him from
You know,
pre-Islamic times. He basically
Yeah,
called them. He literally called the government infidels,
you know. Let me tell you
trying to
one
start
thing.
something.
Let me tell you one thing regarding that imam. I think they had him. In fact, they were just looking for an excuse to catch him because that guy is a salafist.
Are you sure you're Burkina Faso? You're in Burkina Faso right now, bro?
Yes, I am.
You better be careful, man. They're gonna have a knock on your
No, no,
door.
no. That's what we think. We can say things.
Yeah,
That guy is a salafist, and most of the people that do the guy we call jihadists, they are
yeah.
salafists.
Wahhabism.
Wahhabi, I said the
That's what yeah,
Salafi
Wahhabism.
takfiris. They all
Yeah.
went to Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and all that. They learned that thing there, and they came back here. So that guy wants to root that thing out of Burkina Faso. So he was just looking for a mistake. He did not only arrest that guy and his followers, he closed down that mosque.
There you go.
And then
And
also too,
and, and,
and
and,
then
and what the guy
hold
is
on.
saying from
I just want
Burkina
to add one
Faso
thing
is
too.
true.
I just
It's
want to,
definitely true
I
because
just want to add one more thing too. That mosque, it's not the first time it got closed because it's on the way
Yes.
from Pore. It also got closed too. So they had
Well,
multiple
what they
issues
do
with that
there,
mosque.
they teach hatred.
but you
They
see,
teach
that's why when
hatred.
people come here and talk about religion, sometimes people can be very sensitive. Most of the what is a Wahhabia, they
Wahhabist.
cause a lot of
Yeah,
trouble in
Wahhabism. Yeah.
Everywhere
West
on earth.
Africa. So what Traore, that's why sometimes we have to really praise him, even
And
though
Yeah, that's good.
he's a Muslim,
and
but he
city
go
and
Do,
city
beyond those fanatic
do
that
city.
causes a lot
Guess
of
what?
trouble,
City.
you know.
Guess what? You
no,
heard what
that's
happened.
only him.
City. You heard what happened in Guinea, right?
No.
So there was another imam that went on a tangent also too that said the same thing what that other imam said in Burkina Faso, and they immediately arrest that dude
Oh
for
yeah,
Arrested
doing the
him.
from
same
Kanka.
thing.
Yeah, I heard about him too. Yeah, yeah.
Do you guys remember when we had the terrorist attack in Ouagadougou on
Yeah.
Kwame Nkrumah?
Hmm.
The mosque where the people that did that terrorist attack, the mosque where they prayed, is that same mosque that got closed today.
Uh, So what
And
do
then
you
when
think? You think
people talk about Islamic terrorists, people
you
being
think a
so
lot of these
sensitive,
guys now
it's
are
not all
gonna
Muslim. It's not all Muslim, but
right?
the
Well,
fact
we
is
know.
there are people fanatic that are causing too much
No,
trouble in the
You
I
religion.
think a
think
lot of these guys who follow that school of thought are going to probably start to
no.
sympathize with the JNIM, those guys?
It's always them. Salafis, Takfiris, Wahhabis.
The
You see,
Wahhabism. Yeah.
they are part of the Sunni school because you have the Sunni and the Shia, and in the Sunni you have the Salafis, and in that they are Wahhabis and they do takfir. Those are the
Yep.
one that curse. Those people, they are the one creating problem all over the world.
Yeah,
And,
but
and it's
they're
true.
amongst you, man. You can't. You got to root them out because they're giving a bad name
But
to the religion.
whatever you can say about Trump, when he did his first term, he went to Saudi Arabia and he told them to tone down those books because Saudi Arabia, those GCC
Yeah,
countries,
because Abdul Aziz
Abdul
Wahab comes
Wahab,
from Saudi Arabia.
yeah. So he went there. He told them because what they do, they go in poor countries like ours. They give money to build mosques, and they
Hmm.
bring those books where they teach that hatred and all that. That's how those children become things. So when Trump his first term, he went to Saudi Arabia and told them to tone down those books because it's creating too much trouble. And
Right.
they toned it
But
down.
that's why Traore turned down being monks in Burkina
No, he,
Faso.
he,
They
And
he
said they want to
closed
be
it.
monks. He said, no, if you
He
want to build
closed,
something, you
yeah,
big factory. I
yeah,
don't need monks.
exactly. So that's why I want you to know that it's clamping down on religion. It's
But
only
what I'm
focusing.
saying, this is dangerous because what's going to happen now? These guys are not going to be on the JNIM camp. They're going to be right there in Ouagadougou,
They are
serving as
already here.
silent agent, and now they're going to start doing like suicide bombings. You're not going to be
They,
able to tell, and that's the
they,
dangerous part of it because those who
they,
are here to that mosque or who are sympathizer with that imam, they're going to probably start taking actions and become a jihadist themselves and try to blow things up. You just see a guy walking in your
I
neighborhood.
mean,
but did you
but
understand what I
those.
told you? The people that did those terroristic attack in Burkina Faso, in Ouagadougou, on Kwame Nkrumah, that's where they went to pray.
Yeah, so
Before doing
it's
those
a
attacks,
notorious mosque then.
yeah, it's a notorious guy for a
Yeah.
long time. That's what that guy was the how you call it, the chairman of the Islamic Bank of Burkina Faso before it got closed.
Mhm. That's what I'm
What
saying. It's
what
dangerous because you know how Islamic terrorism is. You won't see it coming. It could be your neighbor. It could even be a female wearing her burqa
yeah, but
with a bomb underneath it, and she can go into a strategic place and cause mayhem. So who
this
knows
is
what's going
only
to happen?
where I agree with the guy that was cursing our African president on that is right, is that they took GCC countries' money back then against mosque and all that without even checking what type of teaching they were bringing. So by the time they realized it was too late because they
Well,
Yeah.
but
started it.
I mean, for the GCC country, they're also going through it. They have a lot of tourist problem in their country.
But that's what. Listen,
They have a
when
lot of
you take 9/11, most of the suicides that were in there were from Saudi Arabia. The pilots and all that, most of them were from Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, of course.
All right, guys,
And then
we got a new caller. Go ahead, Babaliko.
Babaliko, what's going on, brother?
What's up, man? Stick. Elvis, this question is for you because
What's up, Babaliko? What's up,
man? What's going on, everybody? Everybody good?
We're good, man.
Elvis, I want to ask you, man. Is America and France sponsoring terrorism in Africa?
I mean, I would say it's possible, but I don't have hard evidence for it.
So you don't believe that?
No, that's not that I don't believe it. I'm not taking away the possibility of it happening, but I don't have strong evidence that it's currently happening.
All right, I just wanted to hear your opinion on that. But what I have to say is with the Sanko and Fry, I think I said it last week. I think Fry made a big mistake firing Sanko. I would have just left him and do what I had to do and try to get around him. Once he fired Sanko, that was the mistake he made because the party is not his own. So you find somebody knowing that all the members is not yours and they're controlled by Sanko. That was a big mistake. He made a big mistake there.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, he made a big mistake.
He's still the president. He has more power than the prime minister. He has more power than the speaker of the house, I should say.
It's with what's Fry could be removed from in the house. The house could remove him for treason. I think right now he's
arbitrarily they got to have evidence to remove him for treason.
Well, I mean, he's moving with France and all that. I think it's already treasonous.
Oh, come on, Babali. Come on, bro.
No. Let me ask you. Listen, Albert. Let me ask you. When Fry and Sanko sit down in jail, you don't think two of them already agreed on what they was going to do? You don't think Sanko and Faye did already agree on what they was going to do, and then Faye turn around and change the whole thing? That's not treason? That's not.
No, it's not treason. The prime minister is not a co-equal head of government. The president is the head of, the head of state, right? So the point here is the president makes the ultimate decision. He's the head of state.
Who put him in that position? Who put him in that to make that position? The citizen
of the country, they voted for him.
No, the country voted for Sanko.
No, the country voted for
Sanko. The country voted for Sanko. He was just there because of the case. Sanko couldn't run. The country voted for Sanko. That's why they were saying Fry is our Sanko. If country voted for Sanko,
some people who look, if you go into an election, right? Yeah. And somebody gives you an endorsement, say it's a popular person, give you an endorsement. Yeah, you appreciate the endorsement. But that's a sign of approval from that person that you should vote for this person because I endorse them. Doesn't mean that every vote that person gets, they're going to give it back to you when they become president. That's not how it works. So he rewarded him for endorsing him with the prime minister position, which is a good position. But now when it comes to making decisions based on fiscal issues and other things, the president of the country has the ultimate say. No, when the president makes a decision, you don't go and undermine him. That's insubordination. You can get fired for that. He did.
Yeah, but you see, I think Elvis, you don't understand. Is the way if Faye gathered the votes for his own and did what and getting, I would say, yeah, you're right. But I know for sure that they had a deal and they to get in there, and he changed the whole deal when he went and sit down with Macron and the house. Were you saying? You are president, but you don't own the house. You don't have nobody. The 106, nobody in the house. What that says? That says a lot. I think Faye need to step aside.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. I think Faye need to step aside and get Sanko.
Seems to be doing a relatively good job. Simply because he doesn't go against the anti-France sentiment.
He want to take big IMF loan and all that. Sanko is saying we could use the country resources and build and do what we're doing. I agree with Sanko.
Yeah, that's a harder route to take. Yeah, you got to analyze it, right? Just saying it sounds easy, but it's harder to actually go about it because you got to renegotiate a deal that's already been signed and approved.
Yeah.
That's like being an Indian giver. You already have a concession agreement. You want to go back and renegotiate to more favorable terms.
So
What make
you
think
want to take
that?
you want to take the big IMF loan and let them put stipulation and tell you how to run your country.
I mean, that may be, but the point here is take the going back to renegotiate that concession agreement. How do you think that's going to pan out? The former government already made an agreement, right? And they signed and ratified it. That's binding. It's already binding. So you want them to go back and redo it.
But this is what happened in Burkina Faso, and you guys were saying.
That's a military guy who's doing things on a military level. He's not doing it through the parliament and all of that stuff.
But you remember the former president already had a binding contract that the IMF had to give him the loan.
This guy's a military guy. He ripped everything up. They're not running through any kind of
but they have a parliament, Elvis.
He's a military guy. Come on now, things are ran different.
But even if he's a military guy, certain laws against
exactly.
Them.
Exactly, it's not the same.
It's
not the same.
Do you know how he pays?
A military leader is not the same as a civilian leader. You know that, right?
I'm not saying they're not the same, but you're saying that because he's a military guy, they don't have laws that goes through the parliament that he's
right.
It's not
what I'm saying.
But what I'm saying is that it's not something like he gets up one day and says, "You know what? I'm gonna make this law," and that's it. That's not how it works.
Yeah, he took certain mines away from certain people.
No, he didn't take the mine. He didn't take the mine. He took the gold.
But
Elvis, the mines is their own. The miles is their own anyway.
No,
okay, go ahead, man.
He bought the mine.
Okay, so
as for the mine, he bought them.
So let's be clear on the mines, right? Prior to him, the Burkina Faso government only had 15%. He came, he said, you know what? Instead of us having 15%, we're going to increase it to 40%. And let's be clear, 6 is owned by the state, 3 is owned by a billionaire who's Burkinabe, and the rest are all from other companies. All he said, we're going to increase the stake. It's not like he's controlling all the mines.
He bought them. He bought the mine.
Right. So, like I said, he has 6 that state owned, 3 is owned by a Burkinabe millionaire, and the rest is owned by other outsiders. But only thing he did was increase the stake, 40 to 40%, which is not bad.
Let's say the truth too. When he needed money to buy the weapons we bought, he went to all the mine and he seized the gold production.
Okay, there you go. There you go, my booking up, brother.
He even said that on TV. He said on TV. When he wanted to buy the weapon, they didn't want to allow the transaction. He said, no problem.
But it's his own.
And that's why he's a military leader, because he can do that. He couldn't do that in the civilian.
Wait, Babalik, let me add something. But thank you for clearing that up, because the way Elvis is making it seem is just like he just went and just did it for no reason, because he was trying to get the weapons
so
from
the
Russia.
reason justifying, right?
Hold on. He ECOWAS blocked the transaction from him even purchasing weapons from Russia. So Russia sent those weapons anyway, and then that's when he was like, you know what? If you guys are not going to let me purchase my weapons, I'm just going to block the gold mines.
But hold on. Let me shut Elvis down real quick.
Why you gotta
let me shut Elvis down real quick. Is Trump a military guy?
No, I don't agree with Trump.
Trump is not a military guy. Then Trump went to Venezuela and take the oil that is not his own from a different country.
I'm against that. That's straight up gangsterism. I'm against it.
So you against Trump taking his own gold in his own country?
You're not hearing what I'm saying. I'm saying, comparing a military leader and a civilian leader. Had he done that, his government would have been sued, but because he's a military leader, he has the guns, he has the military power behind him. Nobody can really question him. That's the difference. With Faye, he has to do things a certain way. He can't just go out there and bulldoze or strong arm his way to get certain things. You got to do it diplomatically or do it parliamentarily. That's the point.
You want me to tell you the truth about Faye?
Faye?
That's why I call him. When they tried to choose him, I told
Burkina B.
Hold on. I want to hear him real quick, CD. One second. Let him.
I told them, don't choose that guy. Why? Because he was trained at a school called ENA. ENA is a former colonial school that used to train administrators. Right. Till today, they are trained in the colonial way. They only think the way the colonial.
The guy he's a trained bureaucrat. What's wrong with that?
Yeah. That's what I'm telling you. École nationale d'administration. So our country are run like colonies till today.
Okay,
You need to understand
Burkina
that.
B, I have a quick question for you.
Yes,
So
friend.
I know you went to school in the West, right? So right now
Yes,
you're in Burkina Faso, right?
yes,
So I know Traore is doing a lot for Burkina Faso, and
yes,
you guys still have a CFA, right?
yes.
So do you think you're going to get rid of CFA? If you get rid of CFA, can Burkina Faso system withstand going without CFA?
You want me to tell you the truth?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we have the technical capacities to have our own money, own currency right now. That's why we don't live. You know, to build a currency is very difficult. People that
Yeah.
are trained in the English system, like those that study in London, that's why you will see most of the British colonies, they have their own currency. But those that were trained in the French system, and most of our people right now, our economy, I'm among the first people that went and studied economics in the US. They are trained in France. So in their head, they don't even know how to model the currency out of the way it was done. That's
Okay.
why we are still there. You need people that know, you just can't,
Yeah,
you know,
because
France,
Mali tried before they failed. The only country that
no,
was successful was Guinea. So that's why when people come here, they
and
say, "Well, we are
Guinea,
working on it to have
no,
currency." They don't understand
because
how difficult it
if,
is to.
if, listen, the only thing we have, if we have, let me be honest, we people from the North, the only thing of value we have, if we want to have our currency, is our population that can work, because they are the one that will create the value.
Mhm.
It's our gold mines. We sold almost everything. That's why we are trying to get. It's cotton. We don't fix the
Yeah,
price of cotton. We have cash crop. We don't fix
yeah,
the price. We have mining. It's not ours. And we have the population. They don't have work. So imagine if we start building our own currency, our small country like that, they can destroy us like just like that.
yep. And
We are
Man,
and
you're
just
that's
you're
why
you're a
when
smart
you come
you're
here,
a
you tell
smart guy,
people,
Zewa. You have my respect.
no, no,
that's
he
why
is, he is,
You
he's
think
very
you think critically. I like that.
I'm not against the West. Let me be frank. I was trained by the US,
I
and they
I
have
am
very good school. They
I
are
am against
very,
the
very.
West.
We
No,
we
no,
know
no,
Baba Liko. We know.
no. That's not how I think. You have bad people in the West, and those are the ones that make the most noise. But if you go in good school, especially in the British US system, you study good, you will come out good. They will teach you everything. Now, depending on the type of people you are, for instance, Alassane Draman Ouattara, he studied at University of Pennsylvania.
yes,
He went to the same school with Trump. It's not
That's
a
an
small
Ivy
school.
League school.
Yeah,
yep.
but he came out with a bad heart and he's doing wrong in Ivory Coast. He's selling everything because he believed in the Chicago boys. Me, I went to the University of Minnesota. I had Scandinavian teachers. They are a bit
Well,
socialist
I
and not.
live in Minnesota.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why I went. In Twin Cities, Carlson School of Management. That's where I was. So
All right.
that
So
that trained me good. So I can't say white people are bad because it depends on of what you look from them. If you look for good
Oh
people,
my
you will find
God.
them. If you look for
Oh.
yeah,
bad
but
people,
this
you will
is
find
the
them.
argument we always have when I hear
Yeah, the
say
guy's
people
right. Who say
saying,
who's in the back saying, "Oh my God, he's right."
and when people say,
Me,
"Oh,
me, me. All the
AES is
people.
building
What
currency,"
is he
it's
what is he
not
right
easy.
about? What is he right about? What is he right about?
He's saying you can't judge everybody. Let him articulate. He's an articulate guy. Go ahead and
Listen.
say it.
All I know today, if I had studied in this country, I wouldn't have known shit about it.
There you go.
Let me tell you, I wouldn't have known shit about it. When I went there, listen, when you go to good universities, you can choose your professors. If you want to be a capitalist, you study under capitalist professor. If you want to be a socialist, you study. So you have choices. I was taught and I came back. And now I understand why we cannot create our own currency right now. It will be suicidal. If we do that today, man, do you know what is called economic warfare? They will kill us like
They will
chickens.
kill you, and they did it to Mali. Mali tribe, they doing the Morbo Keita. They came Mali, right?
They
They
destroy
tried, they
Mali.
failed.
Even
Hold on.
Guinea, they destroy Guinea. They destroy
Guinea
Guinea.
destroy Guinea, right?
Yeah.
So, but
Let
my
me
thing,
let
BCAO,
me.
are you aware of BCAO?
Am I?
BCAO, BCAO that control
Yeah, I
the
know. I know. Bissau is just what Hitler and the US did to France that France did to us.
right. So
That's it.
so and
So
and
France
and,
could.
and Right. So France used that as a weapon against the Francophone country, especially when you say that they don't have the population, they don't have the resources to back up those currencies. It's very, very
Let me tell
difficult to
you.
have your own currency.
Yeah,
It's very,
Let me
very
tell
there
hard.
you.
you go.
Let me tell you where I'm not.
No, but
I do not agree with that.
I wanted to add
Why,
something.
go
Hold
ahead.
on, hold on.
As far
Let
as
somebody come in who said they don't agree with that. The rebuff.
No,
We got to get
I
a
don't
different
no,
agree.
no,
perspective.
I don't
I want to
agree.
respond because he said about the currency. I wanted to respond about the
Go
Okay,
ahead. Go
currency.
let's
ahead.
get
Go ahead.
your
No,
perspective.
okay. So I was just saying about the currency, right? I understand what my brother's saying, but you have to understand the reason why the investment bank was created is so they can work and build this currency because this currency is not backed by fiat paper, it's backed by commodities,
Let
gold,
them know, man. Stay.
oil,
Let them know.
oil, uranium. And not only that, also too,
Exactly.
the AES countries also sign up with the BRICS payment system. So what happens is, right, when they sign with the system, even though they say they did play sanctions today, well, what happened is they have the BRICS system, they can still trade amongst each other. So it's not really going to do anything. On top of that, too, if you know that the currency is backed by gold, oil, uranium, even the local traders in that country in West Africa, they're gonna ask for the AES currency. So even if they try to block it, it's not going to work.
No,
So
I
this
agree
is
with
why they
what you're
take
saying.
right. So this is why they're taking their time to build that
But
currency. But I understand what
that's
you're
what I'm
saying.
saying. That's what I'm saying. It takes time. It won't take 5 years. It will take time. If you
Right.
want to come out with, listen, when you remember when the URSS collapsed, it took Putin
Yeah.
like 10 years to stabilize the currency. You don't just wake up today and say I want to get out of it. It
Exactly.
will be. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying we cannot
Okay,
do
I
that.
got you. Okay, I got you.
I'm saying we don't have the technical and the resources right now to do that.
Exactly.
That's what I'm
Also,
saying.
Dr. Africa study, right? She's a well-known study person.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know are you all saying a lot of stuff about who and they don't have a lot of I'm not saying all white people, but the system of white people. Okay? The system that they created is for they to stay on top and for you to be to the bottom. So when you guys come in with this nonsense, with not all of them, listen, they all gonna benefit from the system they created. You okay? So that's what you all don't understand. Just because you could come to America and get a good degree, a good education, a nice job, that's just an individual. I'm talking about as a collective, as an African, the Caribbean. I'm talking as a collective. Okay, it's not going to work.
Okay,
Okay, so
Burkina
that's
B.
what I am telling you guys. There are not
I'm going to agree
the
with you,
best interest for
Babaliko.
us. We have
Yeah,
to be the best interest for our own self.
I'm
Not
going
Burkina
to
them.
B.
agree with you, right?
Burkina B. How do
No,
you
but
pronounce your name? How do
I
you
think we're
pronounce your
saying the
name?
same thing. I think
How
we're
do you
saying the
pronounce
same
your
thing.
name? Hello?
Who that? Stevie?
How do you pronounce your name, sir? From Burkina Faso.
Oh.
No, it's just DWWA. It's just my name, the acronym for my name.
Okay,
Okay,
Holly
let me
Willie.
say this,
Holly
right?
Willie.
One second, Stevie. Let me say this quickly. Babaliko, I agree with you, right? These countries are not altruistic, right? They're not there for your benefit. They're not like a charity that's coming. They're not philanthropists. They're not coming to do good for you.
Yes,
They're
sir.
competing against you, even though you're way beneath them economically. But they don't want you to get on their level.
Exactly.
It's up to you, and that's not a bad thing. Why you think that's a bad thing? It's up to you as a people, as a race of people, to lift yourself up, to find a niche, to find a crack in your system,
I
and
agree with you.
exploit it and raise yourself up.
I agree.
So that's what
why?
China did. China let them use them. A lot of people used to make fun of China. Oh, China got the sweatshops. Chinese people, blah blah blah. They talk all kind of a mess about China. But China allowed the West to use them as their sweatshop, as their manufacturing place, and they
Thank you.
raised themselves up.
So what is the problem?
And now they can compete.
So what is the problem that the AES is doing the same thing, right? Just because they're military junta, people call them so-called juntas, which I don't call. Just because they're doing the same thing, trying to lift the country, trying to do the same thing, take back the gold, what's the problem there, Elvis? Then tell me what's the problem.
I'm not against them. I'm just telling you.
Nobody against that.
Right. When people like Donis or myself or other people say, well, Traore is a dictator. People don't like to hear that.
Why would they say that?
Not all. Hold on now. Let me just say this. Not all dictators are bad. Dictator just means you have power, absolute power, right? But when you try to masquerade yourself to be somebody of the people, like let me ask the brother from Burkina Faso. There's this saying
that the people wanted, Traore to stay in power? Was there a vote? That's what we asked. Was there a vote to reaffirm that the people, in fact, by majority, wanted him to stay in power? Was there a consensus?
Come on, now.
So those are some of the things that we asked.
All right, I'm back. I'm back.
Okay.
You guys,
we got another caller on here. Didn't want to close out.
Okay, go ahead.
Hold on, Sleepy Trump. Go ahead. Let me just go.
Yeah, Dennis, how you doing?
Good, man.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Yeah, Dennis, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Go ahead, bro. We hear you.
There's his phone. All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and close out. Everyone, thank you so much for joining. Like, share, subscribe. Until next time, family. Dynasty Mirror Search for Huru. Peace.
Man, I wanted to do the guy.